Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you're going to listen live via the streaming free always. If you missed something, go find it. All 3 hours going to be posted upon the conclusion of the program today. It is easy to find. iTunes, Audio Vault. Email the show if you like, jcs at 97.espnradio.com. On Twitter, it's at jcameron.show. WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. What a game last night. What a game. Florida State 4, NC State 3. Game 2 of that series forthcoming. Gates open here at 4 o'clock for you to go get the bobblehead. Florida State wins it 4-3 in 11 innings, and there were heroics that abound in last night's game, the most obvious being Stephen Wells. But let's start with C.J. Van Eck, huh? You give up a leadoff triple and then proceed to strike out the number 4, 5, and 6 hitters to keep the game tied. That is doing some things. And then, obviously, Wells, in addition to an incredible catch in foul territory, also hit the go-ahead home run in the 13th inning. What did I say? 13th inning, I should say. The 11th inning was when the jam happened. And Florida State. No, it was 11 innings. Did I have it right?
I believe it was the 11th.
I think it was the 11th inning. What did I say? Anyhow, I know what it was. I was thinking I was reading earlier today. That's right. He had hit the home run against Clemson in the 13th inning earlier this year. So I get my innings mixed up. Extra innings. He's a hero often. How about that?
Dating back to last year in the ACC tournament, he had a couple of big plays in right field.
Mm-hmm. That's funny about the home run. He said after the game, I knew I hit it decent. I saw the left fielder creeping towards the fence. Then I heard the crowd kind of erupt. I knew it had snuck out. What a great moment. What a cool thing. To go into a series is of vital importance, and to win a game in dramatic fashion against a really good NC State team and to have the night that he did, that's got to be an amazing feeling. I always like seeing that. I'm getting old, I know. I always just think about when I watch those moments, I think that's going to be with him the rest of his life.
Oh, easily.
Oh, yeah. So cool, though. It's just so cool to know you're watching a kid's life memory right there. That's an amazing moment. There'll be many of them, but that's one that's going to stand out. It'll be more than a blip on the radar.
Well, and if you're not careful, it may be a memory for you, too.
I don't think so. But
that's awesome.
but I'm happy for him.
Well, you'll remember that. I mean, that's a cool 1-2 sequence. That if he only caught the ball or only hit the home run, forgotten. But the combo of the two, that's pretty freaking cool.
It's pretty cool. I don't know. I've seen cooler things. I mean, it's great.
Damn,
I'm not trying to reject the notion.
Sorry.
I'm saying it is cool, but I mean, it's a regular season game on a Thursday night. I don't know that. I mean, J.D. Drew did some pretty amazing things. Buster Posey did some pretty amazing things.
I'm not comparing him to those two. I'm just saying for an inning, man. Let the man have his inning. That's a great inning.
It is an inning for the ages. It's a good one. It's a really good one.
This is 1 for 5 night, too. That's a big one.
That's the biggest one there could be right there.
Hey, now.
So, listen, what they did get, though, Tom, and it should be duly noted because it's important, and if you're really going to win a lot moving forward against really good teams like NC State, you got to have more of it, and they've had plenty of it this year. It's really kept them afloat after Holton's injury at the start of the season. Good starting pitching from Drew Parrish. They've been good, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're getting good starting pitching right now. You give yourself a fighting chance as we get into the important part of the season here with your rotation.
Just one walk. I mean, the striking out of 10 is great, but these days, across baseball, strikeouts, I just kind of accept they're going to be higher. So 10 is cool, but 10 is about like 6 from 5 years ago.
Yeah, I guess so.
But one walk, excuse me. One walk is one walk, and that's the only one Florida State pitching allowed all night long.
Well, and in college baseball, right? I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, these kids don't have the same kind of control, and it's hard to expect that you're only going to see one walk from a starting pitcher. And so, I mean, strikeouts are up across the board, but walks typically at a higher rate in college baseball. Also, I should note that, again, you give up 7 hits in an 11-inning ball game against a really talented NC State team. You did work. Parrish goes 7 2/3. Katowski gets the 2 strikeouts and 2 1/3, only 26 pitches. He looks good. Van Eck gives up a leadoff triple on a fastball, turns around, strikes out the side. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's 3 1/3, 1 hit, no walks, 5 Ks. That's pretty good work out of the pen.
Yeah, so for Florida State now, if you get this win tonight, you win the series. I know it's unreasonable to sit around expecting guys to get a sweep against a quality team, but wouldn't you love to be in a position to get one? Tonight's game could make that happen if you get the win. Obviously, tomorrow's game, where they'll honor Mike Martin before the game with a ceremony, could be for an all-important sweep. I'm not sure it punches the ticket for a top 8 national seed, but it certainly wouldn't hurt, and it certainly puts you in the conversation that we know.
Right, and if you combine that with a good showing, you don't have to win the ACC tournament outright. It allows people to use the storyline, which may be a little bit lazy, but you're playing well at the right time. You're getting hot at the right time. You combine that with the fact that our resume in the RPI is quite stout.
What it is, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're closing in on 40 wins, which is what we do, and that's what us Florida State fans are accustomed to. But for the committee's purposes, if you look at top, 50 metrics in RPI, we had as good a year as anybody. You mean not named Florida or Stanford? Those two teams in the RPI are just kind of way the hell up there.
Yeah,
but
you're not catching them.
As the best of the rest? Yeah, I mean, get this one tonight first, and then we'll worry about a sweep. But if you take 2 out of 3 minimum here and make some noise in the ACC tournament, all it takes is one of the other teams in the fold to just kind of slip a little bit.
Stumble, yeah. Congratulations to the women's tennis team. For the first time ever, they'll go to the Elite 8. They knock off Tulsa 4 sets to 3. So there it is. There it is. Games to 3. I had it right.
To the Elite 8.
First time ever.
That's really cool.
It's great. It's
Florida
awesome.
State sports in general. It's a good time.
On a roll right now. Also, for those that missed it, ACC announced football game times, at least for these early games. And for Florida State, you're talking about back-to-back night games. Of course, the biggest being one you already knew about, Virginia Tech at 8 o'clock on Labor Day night, September the 3rd. 5 days later, we'll host Samford on September the 8th. That will be a 7:20 p.m. Kick there and televised on the ACC network affiliates, if you will. But from there, it's a noon game against Syracuse that was announced. That will be shown nationally either on ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, or ESPNU. And so the majority of those kickoff times still are yet to be announced. You have trickling in, just a few.
Yeah, they always do the first 3 weeks, and then the networks get to cherry pick which ones they like. I would rather the kickoff for the Virginia Tech game to be 8 p.m. because it's going to be rowdier.
It's going to be awesome.
Is there anything against, on a Labor Day kicking off at 5 or 6 o'clock? I mean, most of the barbecues are wrapped up by then. I would think there'll be enough eyeballs on
Getting
sets.
old, man.
No,
You're getting old.
It's just for people to get out of town and get to work on a Tuesday. So if you're traveling to this game from Orlando, Atlanta, wherever, you're taking Tuesday off.
You are definitely taking Tuesday off, yeah. Well, it's probably playing on a Monday night to begin with, though. I mean, that's just the way it is. But that's going to be an amazing atmosphere. That's going to be akin to, again, it's Willie Tacker's debut. I mean, how nuts is that place going to be? I'm getting, goosebumps thinking about it on the 18th of May. I can't wait to be in that building. I'll get there early. We'll do that pregame show. We'll race the hell over there, Tom, and we will get it on. Good times. Got to tailgate a little bit for that one.
Yes, this is true.
You got to tailgate a little bit on a, that's a Cat 5 main team. I'll be ringing the bell for 2 weeks.
Well, 2 or 3 weeks ago, what was it? I ran into Darren Pupa, the former Lightning goaltender, and his daughter is going to Florida State. And he grew up a Florida State fan. We talked about this because when he was living in Ontario, they got 3 channels, and he got to watch a lot of Syracuse basketball.
Strikes me as bizarre.
Then he got to
Florida State football in Ontario.
Florida State football. So he was a Florida State fan. One of his kids went to Florida. They don't talk about it. So his daughter's going here. He said, I've never been to a game. I said, Virginia Tech, pal.
Come on, man.
We won't have disappointed anybody. If you're being a pessimist, we won't have disappointed. That game in and of itself is going to be insane.
You want to bring Darren Pupa in studio and we can talk about it?
Maybe.
No, not that good a guest.
I don't know how good of a guest he'd be. He'd be a great guy to sit back and talk and have, story time with. He's got some whoppers of stories.
I'm sure.
I just don't know how radio ready that would be.
Okay. What's he been doing?
Real estate.
No money down.
No money down. No, well, it just occurred to me because his wife's been in the business for 20-odd years, so he joined the family there.
I am happy, by the way, as an aside, I noted this. I was happy that the Syracuse road game is a nooner. It just feels like a tough place to play at night, and weird things happen. Remember last year, Syracuse beat Clemson at night?
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't know.
It's minimize.
Yeah, that's just a sleepy nooner.
That's right.
Just early in the year.
Oh, you kids, you're just getting
up for. Yeah.
You freshmen, you guys are just going to be loose because
just getting going.
For your parents, you're going to be sleeping till 2. You'll miss it.
Don't worry about it at all, guys. That's not really one you need to catch up with. When do we get the rest of the times?
Oh, no, that's just week to week now. You get your 2 weeks out and 6-day
what am I
options and all
thinking?
that
Yeah,
crap.
that's right. It's a ways out. You're right. What am I talking about? I don't know why I thought I'd know more. I thought we'd have a couple more.
Well, they won't 6-day Louisville. I mean, Louisville's going to be known 2 weeks in advance, and then they'll probably 6-day Miami to make sure that everybody's
There's
okay
a potential that we're going to be down there, and that'll be college game day because Miami's schedule outside of LSU early is easy, and then it just depends on what we do. If we beat Virginia Tech, that's a clash of.
If we beat Virginia Tech, they may schedule that 2 weeks out to be a primetime game, no matter what happens in Louisville. But if we don't, then they may want to see what we do against Louisville.
And this is the year you come with me and we get down to Miami and we sit on the 50 and we go with friends and you get to experience in all of its glory what it's like to attend Florida State Miami in Miami with those loser fans.
Yeah, who will be jacked up. Actually, it'll be a bit of a combination of the 80s meets the present day,
Here you
right?
go. I can't wait for you to do that.
Okay.
And you get to go to the Los Tacos with me.
That's the highlight of the trip. 'Cause now I've been to Miami. I went to a wedding on Miami Beach. It was awesome. I drove by that stadium. It looks really weird.
It's a cool stadium, actually. Yeah.
It looks cool now. You said it because you've seen it, but with all the renovations, it's become
everything.
infinitely better, right?
It was a piece of crap. By the way, that parking lot, you'll laugh at how disgusting that place looks after a game. It's just embarrassing. Just pitiful. Just trash everywhere. Typical. Just pitiful Miami.
Just rolls on out of the stands and out into the...
Yeah, that's exactly right. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
850-558-3500. That's 850-558-3500. Remember, the FAA requires all commercial use drone operators to be licensed.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
And now Jeff and Eddie waste my time instead of recording a commercial.
And then you decided to sell it. And I always thought you should keep it.
You know, I wanted to keep it.
It was perfect. It was perfect. Why wouldn't you keep that?
It wasn't the right color.
It was perfect. I tell everybody to this day, you should have seen the other one. You should have seen the other one. It was incredible. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Is your car's AC keeping you cool? With Tallahassee's summer season here to stay, stop in now to any auto and tire super service center and take advantage of their $69 AC recharge special. That's right. Visit any auto and tire super service center and recharge your car's AC for just $69, keeping you and your family cool all summer long. Visit any of their 5 auto and tire super service centers, locally owned and operated for nearly 40 years.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
No NBA basketball for you tonight, just as there wasn't last night. Last night, however, was amazing as the Tampa Bay Lightning, despite being outplayed by and large, get a performance for the ages from Vassie, and the netminder saves the day. Playoff series evened up at 2 apiece, headed back to Tampa. Exhale, Tom. Exhale. It's okay, buddy.
Yeah, that was I couldn't fall asleep till about 12:30 just watching that game. And after the national anthem, you kind of get a feeling, a good one or a bad one. I think this is across sports too.
Did you have a pretty bad one?
I had a bad one. Yeah, I didn't like our chances, but then the first, after Washington goes up, we take control of the game before 3 straight penalties. And then it's just for about an hour and a half in real time, we're not competitive in the game.
Oh, it was awful.
Except for one dude. So it would behoove them to not look at this circumstance, the Lightning that is, and say, oh, well, we could just do the same thing and we'll win. We'll win the series. No, you'll lose in 6 if you give an effort like that again. Period.
I would like to believe that you're not going to see that, of course. But, at the same time, I down 0-2 headed to Washington. This looked like as bleak as it could look, and here we are tied at 2 games apiece.
It's a best of 3. Yeah, the only bad thing is we got 2 of those games at home.
You're right. The road team is undefeated.
That's correct.
We continue to watch road teams just wreak havoc in the NHL playoffs. Well, I used to tell my dad, by the way, Tom, just as an aside, that one of the things I liked about the NHL, and this is before the Lightning even existed, this is how far back I remember this conversation being, was that it was the only league I was aware of where an 8 could beat a 1, and it happened fairly regularly. It was the only league that I was aware of where the postseason, the team that had the best year wasn't really necessarily even close to guaranteed to go into the Stanley Cup Finals. And here we are, fast forward all this time, and it's the only league I can think of where there is real no discernible home ice or home field, if you will, advantage.
Well, the thing you nailed after last series for both teams is that, Washington's win over Pittsburgh freed them to play at a level that they hadn't seen yet, because they didn't play at the level they're playing right now against Pittsburgh. And with them, momentum matters so much. It carries them to a different plane. They're kind of a front-runnerish team in that sense. When they get momentum going, it's really hard to beat. But if they don't have momentum going, they are jittery and vulnerable.
Momentum may have shifted, my friend.
That's the thing.
Let's hope jittery and vulnerable occurs.
Well, first 5 minutes of tomorrow night is important.
Hey, listen, I'll mention it off and on just because I don't like you guys to think that we're just robots and callous and we don't pay attention to what the world is going on around us. You guys who do know me know that's not the case. It's not about me, though. I do want to say that our thoughts and well wishes are with everybody in Texas. This is a horrible situation, unfortunately. Far too frequently, I get upset about this and have to have this conversation and or make some sort of announcement over such an issue, but you have 10 killed in a shooting at a Texas Santa Fe high school. A teacher is dead as well. Yet another school shooting. So there's no easy way to segue into sports from there, but we do want to at least acknowledge that that's happened. I know sometimes you turn on a sports talk and you're like, hey, everybody, who's going to make more free throws tonight? And I'm just, we're aware. And so I get it. Sports are what they are. And we'll soldier on. I won't really bring it up all that often. I'll acknowledge things as we go along because theoretically, as you guys know, our audience changes every 15 to 20 minutes. But other than that, just maybe you're getting in your car. I understand you're not aware of a situation where there's real news going on. And there is, unfortunately. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag savings.
TNT.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Hey, we're checking in with Joe over at Truck and Car Concepts. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, man, how you guys doing today? It's an awesome setup here at Truck and Car Concepts. You come in here, it's your one-stop shop. You can get it all taken care of. Window tinting, pinstriping, graphics, you name it, Truck and Car Concepts does it. And we've also got those bolt-on accessories that makes the truck look nice. We've got grill guards, we've got brush guards, stainless steel Nerf bars, lifetime warranty on those. And again, the spray-in bed liner is going to make it worth your while.
You're talking about putting a few of these things on there, and you're going to increase the value of that vehicle.
Well, you will, and not only are you going to do that, but you're going to make it look nice. It's going to customize it for your own personality and your own wants and needs. Some guys like it jacked up. We also do lowering kits.
There's only one place in town that's going to be able to truck it up then.
That's right. That's Truck and Car Concepts.
Truck and Car Concepts. 1 block east of Weems Road on Mahan Drive, across from Kraft Nissan. Call 656-8800. Come on, say it with me. 656-8800.
You know what? It's time you level up your lemon lime with new, clear, refreshing Mountain Dew Ice. Why settle for this when you could have this? You want a fist bump that ends in one of those fake explosions?
Hey, Charles.
Or a fist bump that ends in an actual explosion?
Hey, Charles.
Want to pull up to the party on this? Or arrive in this? Make this musical request? Or this one? So yeah, you can keep drinking the same old, but we think you'll like the exploding fist bump, showing up to the party properly way to lemon lime, right? Mountain Dew Ice. Clear, refreshing lemon lime, redefined.
Memorial Day, the beginning of summer. Kick things off at the Home Depot, where right now you'll save up to $50 on all Ego 56-volt outdoor power equipment, like the Ego blower or trimmer. Your choice, $149. Get the power of gas without the noise, fuss, and fumes. But you better hurry. Like summer, they'll go fast. Memorial Day savings on Ego outdoor power equipment only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid through May 30th.
What if hiring could be easier? With more qualified candidates and faster results? What if hiring could be smarter? Thanks to ZipRecruiter, it can be. With one click, post your job to over 100 top job boards. Then, their smart technology notifies the most qualified candidates to apply. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/expand. That's ZipRecruiter.com/expand.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. After threatening to sue the University of Louisville, former athletic director Tom Jurich will get a $4.5 million settlement from the school. Jurich was fired in October, 2 days after head coach Rick Pitino, in the wake of the federal corruption investigation into college basketball. If you've missed the NBA playoffs, they're coming back tomorrow night in Cleveland. Game 3 for the Celtics and Cavaliers. The game is on ESPN Radio and TV tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern. Boston leads that series 2-0. Reaction continues to come in after the Supreme Court ruling this week, opening the door for expanded sports betting around the country. DeMaurice Smith, the executive director of the NFL Players Association.
It's not just a simple question of where the money is going to go as much as that issue is important, but also making sure that we maintain the integrity of the game, but also that we keep a good eye on what are the impacts on the athletes, what's the overall impact on the game, and making sure that we're making wise, prudent decisions about all of that.
DeMaurice Smith on Golic and Wingo. Blake Barnett will be a graduate transfer student at South Florida in the fall. Barnett graduated from Arizona State after starting his college career at Alabama. Meanwhile, Crimson Tide quarterback Tua Tagovailoa says if he hadn't played in the national championship game in January, he would have transferred to another school. Tagovailoa took over for Jalen Hurts in the second half, throwing the national title-winning touchdown pass in the second overtime. Angels reliever Keenan Middleton will have Tommy John surgery on his right elbow, ending his season. Middleton left Sunday's game against the Angels after only 12 pitches. He was the team's closer in April.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday, brought to you by Quarter Pocket Bar and Grill. Quarter Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachia Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Did I mention to you yesterday Jordan Spieth is currently 183rd on tour and putting?
Sure did.
I figured you'd like me to reiterate that point.
I smile every time I hear it.
Well, it comes on a day where I was just checking a score before we came on. I can't think of another sport, maybe you can, where if injury's not involved, that a world-class player or a player is capable of doing something better than anybody else in the world and within a year can slip to being 200, 250th, 350th in the world as quickly or readily as it happens in golf. You know, like baseball players don't go from being an MVP caliber player to they just can't play the game unless they're aged out and their bat speed's gone or they have an injury of the shoulder as a pitcher. But like you don't go like Mookie Betts is arguably playing better than anybody else in baseball right now, including Mike Trout, is not going to go from what he's doing right now to just an average to below average player, barring injury. It's just not going to happen. He's an elite player. At some point when he's 35 or something like that, he'll drop off. But you just don't see it. Guys don't go and hit 330 with 30 home runs and 120 RBIs, and then again, perfectly healthy, come back the next year in the prime of their career and hit 210. And can't find a way into the starting lineup.
Eli Manning, Joe Flacco?
Nah. I mean, Joe Flacco is still a starter in the league, and he's not very good pass per yard, per attempt. But that
he would have to fall to like the Canadian League or something.
He'd have to be like a bench warmer or something like that to fall that far. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
No, maybe relief pitchers is the closest thing I can think of.
Right, because it's so random. Yeah, the sample sizes are weird too in that. If you get off to a bad start as a relief pitcher to start the year, you may not be able to overcome that for the season. Let's say you have let's say you have back-to-back outings where you go out there and give up a 5 spot. You're just not going to accumulate enough innings to really overcome that when your ERA. You'd have to be pristine.
Well, with your numbers, yeah, but I mean, like there are guys who can be closers one year.
Oh, and throw 102 and then they lose speed.
Or I mean, but they lose control. They just go completely mental. Like they become a closer because of an injury. Then they're a closer. They have 35 saves, and the next thing they're pitching in AAA, and they're one of your guys that doesn't make the 40-man.
Yeah, but if you think about the best closers in the game right now, the guys who over the last 3 or 4 years you would consider at the back end of a bullpen as the guy, they're still dominant guys. I mean, they're still the Chapmans of the world that roll out there throwing
Kimbrel,
Yeah. I mean, Kimbrel's not suddenly just some sorry ass out of the league.
Right, yeah. He's had some difficulties, but he was basically a perfect pitcher.
Yeah, and not many difficulties, right? Yeah, I mean, if when he begins to dwindle, when his saves and his opportunities and his prowess begins to dwindle, it'll be because he's thrown all he can throw in that arm. I'm talking about guys, Adam Scott. Bob Herrig wrote a story yesterday. Bob Herrig, who used to write for the Tallahassee Democrat, now does a great job covering the PGA Tour for ESPN.com and has been on this program in the past. Wrote an article. Now, Adam Scott is playing great today. He's in the top 5 right now, last I checked, out there in Houston.
Eons ago for Bob Herrig, by the way. He's been ducking us for years.
Well, I haven't sent him an email in a while. I should. You want me to get Bob?
It's been forever and a freaking day he hasn't been on the FM dial.
I'll get Bob on next week if you want. I love Bob.
Bob
lives down in Clearwater, man.
You used to send me after Bob when I was an intern to see if I could go lock down an interview, and he would never respond. And he hasn't been on the show, really, I don't think, since I've been
I'll knock it down. Bob's
so.
coming on, buddy. Now you've issued the challenge.
I used to get mad about that.
Bob, you don't know about it, but you're going to be on the Jeff Cameron Show next week. I can get it like that. So his article reads, first of all, the name of the article cracked me up. What in the world happened to Adam Scott's the name of the article. And it's so odd that I read that because my buddy Matt Britton, your buddy Matt Britton, had sent me a text recently and said, whatever happened to Adam Scott? And remember, he got off to a great start just last year. Didn't he win? Or maybe it was 2 years ago. He won like 2 on the Florida Swing.
Yeah, it was a year or two ago.
I saw one of the wins. I was down there at Doral.
Yeah, he was one of the favorites to enter the Masters because he had been a previous Masters champion, and he was part of the discussion with Rory and Spieth and DJ and Day.
Well, he keeps himself in amazing condition. He is his swing is impeccable, as you've noted over the years. It's the envy of anybody who plays golf and has a swing. You'd like to swing like him, right?
Sent me into a tizzy for a year and a half trying to emulate it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch anybody else swing the club more than I want to watch him swing the club. It's maybe Freddie Couples. That's about it.
Stevie Williams should leave his ass for Tiger.
Didn't he? I think he did. Did he or not? I thought he did. I thought they had a breakup.
Oh, did they? Well, if they did, well, then he should complete the breakup and return to Tiger.
Yeah, he may be living off his millions. And, if
he cares to, Tiger could use him.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's not this
game.
segment,
yeah,
but yeah.
All right, so the point would be this. Jordan Spieth went from being the best putter in the world to 183rd. That strikes me as odd. I just think that's weird. And this story is about Adam Scott, who won the 2004 Players. He was 23 years old. He was a can't miss. He went on, obviously. He was with Butch Harmon. And the article reads, and he's won the Masters, and he's won a lot of money. He's won tour events. He's been successful. Fast forward to a practice round last week at TPC Sawgrass where Scott found himself amid Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, and Nick Watney, all students of Harmon or Harmon's son, Claude Harmon III, whom I've interviewed. The elder Harmon was there for the practice round 2, and with that came stories and memories. Me being an ex-pupil, I tagged along for the ride, said Scott, 37, who clearly enjoyed the banter but still finds himself facing a predicament that even he has difficulty wrapping his mind around. Scott is still not qualified for this year's U.S. Open. I had no idea, first of all, that he had fallen that far off. If he fails to make it into the next month's field at Shinnecock Hills, he will miss his first major championship since 2001. A 17-year streak of 67 in a row surpassed only by one other player. You know who that is currently? Because think about it. Tiger's missed him.
It's not Poulter.
Nope.
No, I don't.
Sergio Garcia.
Oh, okay. There you go.
It's not a situation I want to find myself in, said Scott, who's playing in this week's AT&T Byron Nelson. And by the way, he's kicking ass. I look at what I've done over the past 12 months. I'm not surprised. I think I've had times where I've played much better golf and better scores than now. I just haven't gotten the best out of myself in these last couple of years. My putting has simply been erratic. And they're talking about his putting, and it's crazy. His world rankings, he went from 7th at the end of 2016. He was 7th at the end of 2016 to 31st to 71st in a year and a half. Golf is the only sport I can think of where these kinds of things routinely happen. It's nuts. Tennis players don't go from being number 1 or 2 or 3 in the world to 100th, barring an injury.
They go 1 to like 12, and they still make it to the quarters of the semis every single Grand Slam. If they're the best,
yeah.
Federer's
if you're in the handful of best players, like Adam Scott at one time was considered one of the best 5 players in the world. 71st in the world.
Maybe it all started with choking away the British to Ernie Els back in 12.
When you and I were checking in for the ACC meetings.
Unbelievable.
We sat there in awe.
Yes. And Ernie won from the practice green. He was like, oh, there's not even a playoff? Well, okay.
Oh, it is crazy.
I never believed in posting a number until today.
Well, wasn't it that Scott doubled or something weird like that?
He hit into the face of a bunker off the tee.
And then he was screwed, and we were sitting there going, oh, that's a tough lie.
This completes the circle,
I don't think it's going to happen. Anyhow, can you think of another sport? That's really what this was about. It's less about Adam Scott. A lot of people don't care. I'm just saying.
No.
That's how tricky golf is. It's how
it's about mental. No, so like a running back in football is a similar effect of being great and terrible, but that has everything to do with physical play,
just tread on the tire.
Mental. Yeah. Kickers.
I don't know enough about certain other sports. Kickers might not be a bad one, but they don't have a ranking system for kickers. I mean, like track athletes, maybe. Mario could tell us something about that. But even then, I would think that'd be about an injury or about having to get off performance-enhancing drugs or about, if you're a fast-twitch muscle guy, age. But again, guys don't go overnight like they do in golf, like within a year. You can go from 1 to 200th in the world at something when you were the best at it in a year and a half or literally a year later.
Vanderjack?
Yeah, well, he fell off the map, right? He went mental. He went from best in the game to can't make a kick.
Yeah, but that's not the norm, though. You don't see kickers like coming. You don't see Vinatieri, go away for 3 years and then come back out of nowhere because he went to the arena league.
But also, I get there's one skill as a kicker, making kicks. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm talking about guys who are the best in the world at a facet of the game, and then that facet lets them down to the degree where they go from being this player, number one in the world, to 200th or 150th or, in this case, 71st. Like, literally.
No, the simple answer is no.
No.
For a pitcher, it would be like his slider goes away for 2 years. Then he gets his slider back out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Because you're putting, you're driving.
I would think that's probably a good analogy there. It's crazy to me. I guess, do we have cases where guys were 90% free throw shooters and then they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn? I'm sure that's happened. But now we're just talking about weird mental hang-up. Maybe. I don't know.
3-point shooting year to year?
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think you go from one of the best in the world at shooting threes to you can't hit the broadside of a barn.
The answer is no.
It's crazy.
I'm going to beat our heads against the wall here.
Yeah, it's probably not good radio. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag savings.
TNT. When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Their 95th year in business this year would like to recognize their newest members.
Hi, I'm Corey Melton, Vice President of Membership, and I'm proud on behalf of the Chamber to welcome our newest members from the month of April. A. Angel Auto Sales, Cypress Capital, 97.9 ESPN Radio, Farming the Future, Gypsia Boutique Incorporated, Handle Me With Care Foundation, Hieronymus Technologies, Monogram Art, Rebels Midtown Boutique, Tallahassee Chiropractic and Injury Clinic, and Waterstone Mortgage.
The Chamber is proud to support over 1,400 local businesses representing over 60,000 employees. For information on how your business can be a part of the Greater Tallahassee Chamber of Commerce, contact Corey Melton at 850-521-3104. Once again, contact Corey Melton at 850-521-3104.
Congratulations, you are now a licensed drone pilot. But what should you do next to elevate your business to new heights? Learn how to package your drone photography by enrolling in TCC's Wakulla Environmental Institute's Drone Business Video Production course. Don't wait, seats are limited. Go to tcc.fl.edu and search drone today or call 850-558-3500. Learn how to package your drone photography so that you can get your drone business started. Go to tcc.fl.edu and search drone for drone education at TCC's Wakulla Environmental Institute. Class starts June 14th.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer.
Nice Tire and Auto, just minutes away from FSU campus.
Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
The Atlanta Braves are having a blast with a great balance of experienced vets and rising young superstars.
High fly to right field. Hit this one very well. That one arcing toward the stands and gone for Ozzie Albies.
Atlanta Braves baseball on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you in part by Fonville Lewis Messer and McConaughey and by Metro Deli in downtown Tallahassee. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com/Braves. This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sassy. I have not seen the episode. I'll have to go and watch it. But I did see that he was on with ESPN. What's the name of that show?
Highly Questionable
You're
with
damn
Levitard.
Right, that's the name of the show. Yeah.
You sassy bitch.
Yeah, so he was on there, and I thought, what a great guest, and he's perfect for Levitard. I mean, he wants people to talk on the reel.
Well, he loves him, too, from afar, even early in Jalen's career. When he got into it with Steve Smith, I think, is when it started to finally hit.
Oh, he wasn't afraid.
He's like, ooh, I like that guy. That guy's good for us.
Well, that guy's just not afraid. I mean, that's the whole thing. He is exactly that. Jalen Ramsey said about Josh Allen on social media, the Jags corner, saying during the draft that when Allen was taken, he was a pick waiting to happen. He deleted the tweet later on, which surprised me because why would you delete that? That's not even mean. He has said way worse about his own teammates, let alone somebody that's going to play elsewhere. Now, Allen was asked about it later on and said, look, that's one of the best corners in the league. It doesn't bother me at all. Ramsey is I'm telling you, and you know this, that guy is going to likely be, if not the biggest star in the NFL, one of three. He's already in the top 10.
Non-quarterbacks? Yeah, he already is. Yeah, but the question is, who are the faces of the league going to be when Brady, Breeze, Roethlisberger are all out of the game? But he's a leading candidate to be. I mean, he's going to be the Champ Bailey if he isn't already. I mean, Champ had his own kind of weird stardom. Darrelle Revis had his own weird kind of stardom. Of course, Deion did something that nobody else did before him. But shutdown corners are Richard Sherman. They are their own little celebrity type.
Revis Island.
Yeah.
They are that way. They're very much like wide receivers in the prima donna fashion in that sense. I mean, they're very interesting. They have to have very short memories. They have to be filled with bravado. The difference is that he is certainly just not afraid to talk about it. He's not afraid to say what's on his mind. He's not afraid to speak openly about how good he is, how bad other people are. And he is a great quote. He's refreshing because he'll tell you things that other athletes refuse to talk about. stuff that happens in between the lines that's considered to be sacred. But I also think he's smart enough to know, well, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe that's part of his popularity, is that he's on the verge of crossing the line into the areas that are gray and or are sacred, like the locker room. I could see him doing something stupid and saying something about a player in the locker room. I could see him saying something publicly about a coach. I could see him saying something that was relayed to him in private.
He openly welcomed Everett Golson here when McGuire was the incumbent, and then he trashed the quarterback situation in Florida State when he left, and then he did some stuff on social media about Bortles. I mean, yeah, he will cross the line. He already has crossed the line. I don't know if he will on his own defense. Now, if he crosses one of his own 11, because I think he views it. I think he views the game as defense. Like, I'm part of the Jags defense. I'm not part of the Jags. If the offense does what it's supposed to do, then we're going to shine. But if they don't, screw them. I don't care if they're wearing the same jersey. They're failing us.
Yeah, it's unhealthy in a way, but again, it allows him to play with a nastiness and a confidence that I do want my corners to have, especially one as physical as him and potentially as dominant as him week to week. I just do. I think he is a major star. It's interesting. We've had a lot of great players come through Florida State. We've had megastars come out of Florida State and make it on a national scale, Deion being the biggest in the NFL. But I think he's of that ilk. I think he's going to be that kind of player. And listen, knock on wood, he's such a different kind of athlete with his body type. If he stays healthy, he's a Hall of Fame type player. He's that freaking good.
In a weird way, I hope his career goes so well over the next 6 to 7 years that if he is asked about Deion, he says, Deion's nothing compared to me. Like, with actual NFL propers behind him. Because he and Deion could go in that little match with each other.
Where are you at on so I've already said on this show before that I'm not a huge Deion guy. I know what he was as a player. I saw all of his college career and I saw all of his NFL career, and he was simply sensational, and I sat back in awe at what he was capable of doing. So very few people have had the ability to have the kind of track speed he had and lose none of it while putting on pads. Most of the time, that kind of speed does not translate onto the football field, where you can literally bait quarterbacks by allowing a fast receiver to run past you, knowing you had makeup speed to go make the play. That's what he had. He had that kind of ability. He was a showman. He could make you miss in a phone booth. He did a lot of fun things. But he also is a guy that I thought too often turned his back on the university. I know he's back in the fold now, but he's a guy that didn't do a lot for Florida State for a very long time. And that included telling people to go to a rival school, which always bothered me a little bit. And I understand that the problems here were what they were, but, you can tell people to go to a lot of places that didn't have to be Miami.
Yeah, Deion, no, I don't like him. It's actually pretty simple. If he returned back to the university and wanted to mend the fence, he wouldn't say, I'm back. Declare himself as though the university is lucky to have him back. I don't care about Deion Sanders.
Okay, so we're in the same boat. Where are you with Jalen Ramsey?
I'm not a big fan of Jalen Ramsey's. Old Sassy is a hell of a football player. Now, I think this is where it's different, maybe a little bit for you than me. I got to see Jalen's career, and it's incredible. So I had at Florida State.
Yeah,
I don't remember Deion's career at Florida State. That's it may as well be Jimmy Jordan's career.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. But so I hated Deion, and it's in the sports sense, not the hate sense.
Right.
As an athlete with the Cowboys and the 49ers growing up, I was like, ugh, this freaking guy. Jalen, I'm not a big fan of. Jalen's about Jalen. I think Jalen's a crappy teammate.
Oh, he's a terrible teammate.
So I have a hard time with that. Now, he reps Florida State hard.
He does rep Florida State hard, and he does
harder than Deion does.
Oh, way harder than Deion. That's one of the reasons I do like him is he loves being a Nole. He's proud of being a Nole.
Like Deion, when Deion says I'm back, it's like I don't care. Where were you?
Like Jalen comes back and hangs out and goes to games.
Right. He was at the basketball game earlier this year with Telvin.
Yeah.
And the fact that Telvin likes him makes me like Jalen more. Like Knowles that I do respect and love the hell out of that guy.
Telvin, yeah.
Telvin is wonderful. So maybe it's that they know that he's playing a bit of a role, whereas I think Deion really just is that much of an ass.
Well, Deion's been busted straight up lying about driving off the road and all this other stuff where he's basically faked a suicide attempt, and then he had the situation with his school and
right
screaming down people.
I don't doubt that Deion's a winner, and
he's an incredible athlete, an amazing player. There's nobody going to ever doubt that because the evidence is overwhelming.
Well, and he worked his ass off. He worked really, really hard, but he didn't do it for the spear on the helmet. He did it for him.
Which, this is a larger talking point. Okay, so I'm okay with that to some degree. I mean, you've got to look out for number one. You do. And if you play well, the team is helped out. And I think that's where a lot of guys will ignore, let's say, Old Sassy. He'll say something that's out of line, but Old Sassy's going to bring it on a Sunday now. He's going to show up, and he's not afraid to stick his head in there.
Okay, here's the nuance. And I've said this before that, I don't blame a kid like an Eddie Goldman. If by the end of the year it's kind of a lost season and, you're waiting for a paycheck.
Knees,
yeah, like I get that. So it might seem like that's hypocritical compared to what Deion's doing. Deion pretends that he cares about Florida State. He doesn't. He just wants love wherever he goes. He's like the 16-year-old recruit who just wants coaches to show him love. And whoever shows him the most love, that's where he's going to put in his top 5 for his, signing day destination. It's not the same. He's fake about that.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's genuine. I don't know what's real and what isn't with Deion. I've been told so many contradictory things over the years, and I don't know the man. I've met him a couple times, but I don't know the man. He would tell me to go to hell if he saw me. I don't.
Great.
Know. Yeah.
Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be worried about it. I'm just saying I don't know him. I've never been able to kind of really pinpoint exactly what I thought his motives were, but I have known him to be disingenuous at times. So yes, and he's been straight caught doing that.
Right. Well, you're on the sidelines of the bowl game against USM. Like, I'm back. Great. Like, I get it. It's going to help our university.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what it is. Fans, generally speaking, will say at that point, well, listen, it doesn't matter whether you like him or not like him. He's a Hall of Fame player, and he's a guy that if he's back in the fold repping Florida State will help us win games in the future.
Right.
So by all means, Deion, welcome back. And by the way, from that angle, I completely get that.
Right. No, it's a mercenary thing.
Yeah.
I don't look at him and say, oh, I feel more complete as a Nole. The way, Bowden comes back to the field, the practice
field.
That made
everybody feel
team.
better. That's complete, yes. Very different situation. You're right.
I felt great about that.
Yeah, warm the heart.
It kind of, listen, the heart needed to be broken. It needed to be broken in order for us to advance as a program. That needed to happen.
Yes.
But that you're trying to mend it together a little bit makes us as Noles feel better about that situation, and it makes the program feel more complete. I don't feel more complete as a Nole when Deion Sanders steps foot on campus here at Florida State.
You and I have much more affinity for a guy like Chris Thompson. If he comes back and does something for the university, you're warm and fuzzy all over because that guy gave his heart and soul, and he cares deeply. He's a good person, and he cares about the school, and I think he cared about his teammates, and I think it would be in earnest if he did those things. There are many other players.
Brian Stork came back to work with our center the year after he graduated.
That was cool.
Or the year after he, won the national title. You know what I mean? Like, where's that? Where's Deion just showing up and nobody knows about it?
Exactly.
He has to tell you everywhere he is, and he has to take the selfie. He is the selfie culture before that existed. He was ahead of his time.
Well, he was ahead of his time as a self-promoter and marketer, and he made himself millions of dollars doing it. And there are parts of that you can respect and parts of that you can absolutely loathe. And I think that's the way Old Sassy will be. I think Old Sassy's a guy that does love Florida State but will endlessly promote himself. But also, what he says a lot of times is simply just true. There's a little Muhammad Ali in him in the sense that Muhammad Ali told everybody about how great he was as a champion and how he was going to win and then did.
Right,
yeah.
right.
That's Jalen Ramsey. He's like, I'm better than you. I'll shut your ass down, and then does.
No, he doesn't get embarrassed after he does that.
No.
He just backs it up. And he knows that he's fully aware of how good he is.
He is. Like A.J. Green, that situation there is hilarious. That's funny what was going on there. He was saying, you're washed up and you're soft.
Right. Right.
Well, and he dominated it.
And he's not afraid to tell the people what he said to him on the field. But there are two things I love about Deion. Is watching his highlight film.
Yeah.
Listen, the play itself, if you can
it's
just get the guy to shut the hell up for a minute, it's great. But then also when he does the prime interviews on Sunday nights for NFL
funny.
Network, because the players, they
like him.
They relax and they
have
talk
fun with it.
man to man. And that's wonderful to watch.
Oh, and it's player to player, and it's baller to baller, and it's game respects game, and it's all those things. Yeah, absolutely. Right. No, there's a place. There's a place. Yeah.
I'm glad you took his shoes. That's all I care about.
I don't know. Nobody knows that story. But yeah. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Well, I opened up something new. It's called Bumpa's Local 349. You may ask, what is Bumpa's Local 349? It was named after my grandfather. Bumpa. It's what we called him. Best man I ever knew. And the Local 349 was his union. And I try to bring this local flavor, this local flair of Tallahassee. I want to bring it to you, locally owned and operated. Warm, good food.
Good Lord, man, we're getting all weepy up in here. It's a cool sports pub. It's got TVs everywhere. You got every package. You got a gazillion kinds of beers and delicious food and a deck. We don't need to weep up in here. Come on, Eddie.
And we have 16 local Florida taps. Great craft beer just for you. And the best bologna sandwich you'll ever eat. It's like you just won the lotto. As Bumpa said, no matter how you cut it, it's still bologna.
Bumpa's Local 349, 2738 Capitol Circle Northeast.
Look around. There could be a big change coming this long weekend. To your walls, the Home Depot's got $10 off 1-gallon cans and $40 off 5-gallon buckets of our best paint. Even better, a 100% satisfaction guarantee. You'll love it, or we'll make it right. A little paint goes a long way. Right now, it goes even further, with Memorial Day savings of up to $40 on our best paint, only at the Home Depot. More saving, more do it. Offer valid through May 28th, U.S. only. See store for details.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Has anyone ever said the word peppers better than Mel Kiper?
Peppers.
Has anyone in the history of the word peppers ever said it better than Mel Kiper Jr.?
Peppers.
Mel Kiper Jr. doesn't say it as well as Mike's fake Mel Kiper Jr. says it.
Peppers. 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 You talk about a peppers. Peppers.
I think people are right. Like, who would say it better? Who would you even nominate?
Peppers. Oh, wow.
Oh, wait a minute. Chris summoned some fake Stephen A. Smith, and he got it from his groin.
Peppers. Wow.
Wow, it's pretty good.
Peppers. 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 Peppers.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee. Live from the AmeriGas propane studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday, brought to you by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachie Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Obviously well aware as we begin this hour, as we have with all hours, it's not so loosey-goosey, is it, when there's a school shooting? Again. So I won't give it its normal moniker, but we shall proceed. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. You can listen live via the streaming there. If you miss anything, go back, get caught up at your leisure. We'll post both the iTunes and our own audio vault. You can always email the show if you like. It's jcs@979espnradio.com. On Twitter, it's @JCameronShow. WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. Big baseball game tonight. Knock on wood, it doesn't have another influx of rain rolling through here. I get differing reports on that, but it's bobblehead night, which is cool.
Go get them now. Gates are open.
Yep. Oh, that's right. It starts at 4, doesn't it?
Yeah, those are gone in about 20 minutes.
Yeah. Lots of people, I'm sure, racing over to get the Mike Martin bobblehead. Congratulations again to Mike Martin. And a big win last night and an amazing turn of events there. Stephen Wells makes a catch for the ages and then turns around and wins it with a walk-off. And the Noles, that's a series we've talked about a lot. A great way to conclude the season against a really good NC State team. And if you can take 2 of 3, God forbid, sweep, you might very well be in a position to be hosting throughout as a top 8 national seed. No guarantees there. You still got important games in the ACC tournament, etc. But you would need to win this series, first of all, after losing the series to Clemson. But the RPI is high for Florida State. It's a team that has won its fair share of games against really good teams, and it's played a tough schedule. So Florida State, we're in a position to get that home throughout. If you could sweep it, I think you're in a real good position.
Yeah, this is a big night for Carp to continue the development. He had the one hiccup recently, but if you can show that you are to your teammates, not even to the fans, not to anybody else, but maybe even himself, this is a big series. Pressure-packed. 2 weeks from now, we're going to be back at Dick Howser Stadium, and we're going to be playing some big baseball games.
Good times.
So,
in the blazing heat.
In the blazing heat and a lot of humidity, it's going to be a lot like what we're dealing with today. So, if you can do that, and this is your final dress rehearsal at home, perform well. Okay, let's get ready.
Congrats to the women's tennis team. They're moving on to the Elite 8 as well. Doff the cap there as the success continues for them. 4-3 this time around. Man, they make it close every time. It's jittery. Makes me jittery. Last night, the Lightning, they tie it up. The series now 2-2 heading back to Tampa. Don't know if that's a good thing. The road teams won every game in this series.
Speaking of jittery, yeah.
Very. A certain goaltender decided to stand on his head, and that was what was needed for the evening. And it's going to be a hell of a thing. Like, you don't even have to follow hockey just to hear this stat and then think to yourself, how did that happen? Washington's got to be furious because I know, as you've pointed out correctly, of course, that shots aren't everything, but they sure did have a lot more of them. Moreover, Washington lost a game where I think there was a stretch of 21 minutes where the Lightning didn't have a shot.
Yeah, that's correct.
21 minutes without a shot.
21 minutes. And where this game went to die for Tampa Bay was they took 3 penalties at the end of the first period.
Lost all momentum, and man alive.
It also just destroys your flow of your rotation of your lines. So guys aren't on the ice for going on 45 minutes, and when they get on the ice, this other team's got all the momentum in the world, and they're a machine.
You just felt like you were, watching Ovechkin from years and years ago. He looked like a guy that, warranted all of the praise and for all the right reasons, just so skilled.
About 15 years ago almost now, I watched a guy named Keith Primo in the East Finals 2004 completely take over a series, almost beat the number 1 seed in the East by himself, which in hockey is basically impossible to do, especially when you're not a goalie. And he almost did it. He took it to 7 pretty much by himself. Ovechkin, for little 2 or 3 minute snippets in this series, looks just like that.
It's
defensively
crazy.
Blocking shots, physically in the defensive zone, and then obviously with a gifted touch on offense.
It's unbelievable to watch. Anyhow, the Lightning win. They go home. We'll see what happens next time. We got more hockey tonight late if you want to watch the Golden Knights. I almost said Golden State. So used to it. Las Vegas taking on Winnipeg. Chance to go into a commanding series lead, 3-1 if they win it. By the way, we're forced to talk all this hockey, folks. That's what the NBA does. No games. You got no games. Nothing tonight. Just like you had nothing last night. Whole lot of nothing. You pointed out something in basketball, and we got to give credit to Mike Famey, our friend who works for ESPN and does good work, and is a guy that is extremely knowledgeable. But you pointed out that FSU hoops I just think it was a fun thing when you tweeted it. I didn't see it until later.
Oh, it's Terrence Mann who put it out first there. Yeah, 31-2.
31-2 over the last 2 years at home is Florida State in basketball. And then Mike tweeted out something about the Blue Bloods. And if you compare Florida State basketball and their home record, 31-2 over the last 2 years, you look at Villanova. Villanova at home, your reigning national champion. And by the way, lest we forget, just another reminder how easily they cruised through the NCAA tournament this past March Madness. Think about that. Wouldn't it be so nice to win a national championship in that fashion, just to, just going to skate on through here, really not play very many competitive games? Aren't going to be too many moments where you're concerned about what's going to happen at the outcome if you're a Villanova fan. They just kicked everybody's ass.
Yeah, that second half was not very interesting at all.
Good Lord. Anyhow, Nova's 29-2 at home. Florida State, again, 31-2. Kansas is 29-5. Had a bad year last year. You didn't see them losing like that. But they did last year and then still rallied to win the Big 12 for the 14th consecutive year. Unbelievable. Duke is 30-2. Okay, that makes sense. But that's Cameron Indoor, right?
Yeah.
Florida State's 31-2. Duke is 30-2.
We hosted Duke last year.
No, we lost to Duke on the road last year.
I meant 2 seasons
Yeah,
ago.
2 seasons. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, no. Well, we were in the game at Cameron. That's all the more impressive. But yes, we beat Duke the previous year. That's when we sat behind a certain player's parents.
Yeah, Grayson Allen. Yeah. Meant calendar year.
I really felt bad for that kid's parents that night. I don't feel bad for him, but I felt bad for him.
I don't feel bad for him. He went after Gates.
Yeah.
You go to hell with that nonsense.
But if you recall, the fans were...
He deserves every bit of it.
He does. The family, I'm saying.
The family, yeah.
I felt bad for the family.
Raise him better. Kidding.
Michigan State is 30-4. North Carolina is 28-3. So Florida State better with that record. Kentucky is 31-4. It is remarkable to think about that, and it just should be mentioned. 31-2. I don't know why I hadn't thought about it. I just hadn't.
Well, and it makes total sense because last year before the season started, last season, this one, the real one this time, 2017-18, you said if you went to a game at the Tucker Center in 16-17, you never saw us lose. We won every single one of those. And if you think back to our losses this year, the Virginia game is really, really close. Not until Guy hits that corner three do we, yeah.
I still remember him rising up and thinking, well, that's going down. Nothing we can do about that.
There is a real distinct home court advantage, even if fans don't show up for a do-or-die game against Boston College.
You're not going to forgive it.
Ever.
It is something that has been transformed, right? We would have never said that for almost the entire time that I've ever been associated with Florida State or lived here in this city. It's amazing that exists. As an aside, one other note, I thought this was very interesting. Yesterday on the show, we were talking about Robinson Cano and what the impact of him testing positive would be on his career and the thoughts that you don't accidentally put stuff and ingest things into your body when that is your whole career. Well, my goodness gracious. You have former Yankee teammates deciding to weigh in on Robinson Cano's 80-game suspension and the talk of it. He tested positive, lest you forget, for the diuretic furosemide. I think I got that right. Can be taken for a number of medical issues, but it's also used as a masking agent for performance-enhancing drugs. It's also banned by the World Anti-Doping Agency. Don't think you accidentally get that into your system, by the way, as he proclaimed that he was given by a doctor in the Dominican Republic, and it was an accident. So here's what happened. Mariano Rivera came to his defense and said, sometimes we make mistakes. I'm not saying he did it on purpose, but I'm saying sometimes we need to watch it because MLB watches everything. Even if a team doctor gives it to you, you still got to watch it. Cano's a good boy. Okay. Toeing the company line. Except for when Mark Teixeira was asked. Robbie Cano's assistant was on the list for biogenesis, said Teixeira. Of course he had an assistant buy stuff for him. Alex Rodriguez got popped by biogenesis, and Melky got popped. They're best friends. You know that. When someone gets lumped into that group, it's because there's evidence to lump them in that group. There's a paper trail. There's smoke. There's fire. Well, I guess he didn't have any time for Robinson Cano.
And the best part is he said, I love Robbie in the beginning of the quote. Robbie doesn't love you anymore, pal.
Goodness gracious, no. He went on to say that he was not surprised by the news. I just think it's awesome when a guy is willing to, and that was in a radio interview on the Michael Kay show on ESPN there in New York. He comes on that show. Kay on the day is interviewing many of Cano's former teammates. All of them are saying something very similar to Mariano Rivera's comments. And then he gets to Teixeira, and Teixeira's like, look, man, do I need to lay this out here for you? Because that's presenting evidence to a jury.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's clinical.
He's thought about it.
Yeah, he has thought about it, hasn't he?
Mike, do you want me on today? Why? I'm just saying, I'm available.
Yeah, I'm able to talk.
Talk about anything.
Anything you want.
Related to the Yankees, past Yankees.
Controversy, performance-enhancing drugs, whatever you want, anything. I'm always open and honest. Whatever you'd like to talk about, let's get to. I mean, you lay it out there. His assistant's on the biogenesis list. His assistant, Alex Rodriguez, got popped by biogenesis. Melky got popped. They're best friends. It's like he was going to go on and add he owes me $25.
Right, yeah. It sounds like a dude who tried to warn Robinson in the clubhouse and the guy who said F off or something.
It does sound like it. It sounds exactly like that.
Well, Robinson, I'll remember this.
It seems. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Design it and install it. We've done hundreds of storefronts in the Tallahassee area. That's why Whidden is known for taking care of business. Whidden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
This Day in Sports, brought to you by Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary. Get your history lesson weekdays at 5:30 during the Jeff Cameron Show, right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Did you know that propane-powered clothes dryers outperform electric models in energy efficiency, drying time, and garment protection? So dry your clothes more efficiently with propane. Propane water heaters give you more hot water at a more affordable price. Compared to electric, energy-efficient propane water heaters can reduce your energy costs significantly. For more information, call AmeriGas Propane here in Tallahassee at 877-1122.
I'm Fred Conrad, and I'm a criminal defense lawyer. For almost 20 years, I've been practicing DUI law in Tallahassee. Did you know if you're arrested for a DUI in Florida, your driver's license will be suspended regardless of whether you refuse a breath test or if you give a breath sample over the legal limit? And you only have 10 days from the date of the arrest to contest the suspension. Did you know in Florida, a DUI conviction will stay on your record for the rest of your life? If you've been arrested for a DUI, don't blow it. Call my office and talk to me today, 222-4005, or visit my website, fredconrad.com. I'll personally handle your case.
Right now, buy Ortho's Home Defense Insect Killer with Wand at the Home Depot and get a free refill. Good news for you, final notice for bugs. Home Defense kills bugs where they live, where you live, and prevents new ones from moving in, all for up to 12 months. Remember, it's your house. You make the rules. Get a free refill when you purchase Ortho Home Defense with Wand at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Limit 2 per customer, in-store only. Selection varies by store.
What if hiring could be easier, with more qualified candidates and faster results? What if hiring could be
Smarter. Thanks to ZipRecruiter, it can be. With one click, post your job to over 100 top job boards. Then, their smart technology notifies the most qualified candidates to apply. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/expand. That's ZipRecruiter.com/expand.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Look around. That's right. You see Nissans everywhere. Tallahassee is officially a Nissan town, a Kraft Nissan town. Why? Because Kraft Nissan has the best pricing, best selection, and the best buying experience in town. And at Kraft Nissan, you get the best value for your dollar. With more standard features, our exclusive and the original lifetime warranty, our easy choice menu that gives you a price and payment in writing, our new For You program that helps people with damaged credit. And now, to the end of the month, 2 years or 20,000 miles of complimentary maintenance with every new car purchase, plus $1,000 over book value for your trade. Best of all, my people are the best in the business. They will greet you with a smile and a handshake, and they will know your time is valuable. My managers are always accessible, and of course, you can always ask for me or my brother Peter. Bottom line, if you need a new or pre-owned car, you need to experience the Kraft difference. Great people, great product, great price, with the best car buying experience in town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
It's impossible. Chris Cornell died 1 year ago today. Did you have any idea that a year had gone by?
No, I did not.
If I had asked you, I mean, I knew you just played the song and I knew you didn't know. So that's why I brought it up, because I was floored when I read that this morning, that it's been 1 year. And I was thinking, if I had brought this up on the air, which would have been a weird and random morbid thing to bring up on the air, like, hey, well, how long do you think Chris Cornell's been dead? But what would you have said? 7 months?
I would have said August, September, somewhere in there, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A year. Whew. That's crazy. You know, one of the things, and this is morbid, it does let you know that when you die, it doesn't take long for people to just move on and forget about your ass. I mean, that's just true of all of us. It's going to happen to everybody. I mean, they've actually done studies on this. It doesn't take that many generations for you to be completely forgotten.
Yeah, no, there's a line about that in this past weekend's Westworld.
Oh, is there?
I'm sure it's cliche in that sense, but it's like you live as long as the last person who remembers you.
Or it says your voice, your name. I remember that was true, too. Somebody of Vietnam, I remember I saw a documentary. A kid did a documentary on his dad. He wanted to find out who his dad was because he was born the same month that his dad died in Vietnam. And he never knew his dad. And so he went back and talked to his friends and his obviously interviewed his mom. And they wanted to know, he wanted to know who his dad was. What was he about and all that. And anyhow, the end of the documentary is touching because he finds his dad's best friend, his high school buddy, middle school buddy, and they were in the Army together. And he tracks him down. And the father answers it's an HBO documentary. It's incredible. We'll find it. But the father, the best friend opens the door and almost immediately breaks down into tears. And he goes, "You look just like him. I knew it was you." Saying to the son, and he welcomes him in, and he goes, "I'm really glad you're doing this because we're not dead as long as somebody still says our name." And, he wanted the opportunity to continue to say his name. And I thought about that, and I'm like, well, that's not that long. I mean, you think about it, it's, in that case, it's 40-plus years, but it doesn't take long, especially if you don't have a big family.
No, well, I mean... Shoot, you got to have somebody who's interested in lineage. Ancestry.com and things like that help in the interim, but, I mean, you want to get really more, but how long is the internet really going to last? How long are we going to be around to, you know what I mean?
Then you get around, how long is humankind going to be here?
Right, yes, So my kids, if and when I ever have them, they won't know my grandparents. You know what I mean? Like, who are they going to be to my kids?
Yeah, no.
Except a story that Dad told.
Well, I feel really fortunate all the time. I mean, this brings it back around to a less morbid place. I was incredibly fortunate as a kid to know my great-grandmother, Dee Dee, who was more than 50% Creek Indian. And, she lived into her mid-90s, and I knew her well. I mean, I think I was 13 when she died. I have great memories of her. And my kids know my grandma, their great-grandmother. Think about that, who's 92. And they ask about, they call her Gigi, and they ask about her all the time. They call her on the phone, and Bryce is now 10. He's going to have a memory of his great-grandmother. That is so rare.
It's lucky.
It's incredibly lucky. It's a really, really good fortune to have it happen. But you're right. Most people.
I didn't have my grandparents past the age of 17.
Were you close to them?
My dad's, yeah. I mean, I was really close to my mom's mom, but she passed when I was in second grade, I want to say. And then, or maybe actually no, or I was younger. But then my dad's parents, yes, because my grandmother, Lang, got sick when I was about 8, 9 years old, and she had to come down and become a snowbird in order for her health, because she needed to be in the warm weather to gain weight and things like that.
Sure.
She had TB, I think, but she survived it. And so I got very, very, very close to them.
Well,
so that
good.
was
At least
tough.
you got to have that, though. You know, that's a good thing. Yeah, I meet people all the time. I'm forever grateful. I meet people all the time. They're like, yeah, I never met my granddad, never met my grandma, didn't barely know my parents. My dad died when I was 5. I'm like, well, it's startling to somebody who's had their parents and who's been fortunate enough. And believe me, I know how lucky I am in that way.
No, my grandfather, Lang, was meticulous. He was like Millar. Everything had a place. All
There's
the pencils
a
were
difference between
sharpened.
meticulous and obsessive compulsive.
Well, he was obsessive then. His workshop, he knew where everything went, and if somebody moved like one of the wrenches, he would know. But then he was also a typical grandfather. He liked to give candy to the grandkids,
Which
and
is great.
his favorite game was Pull My Finger.
I thought you were going to say Risk.
No.
Because Risk is a game that's really, by and
Sure.
large, played by
Well, we played dominoes. We like to play dominoes.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Which is great.
But Pull My Finger was his favorite game.
Was his favorite game.
And then my grandma, oh, Joseph, you're an animal.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
All right. Not an easy segue, but let's do it on a Friday. A little less heavy of a subject. Spencer Hall does incredible work for SB Nation, as we both agree. And, you know, I don't often read directly from articles because I don't want to placate you guys like that. You're capable of reading your own. But this is a lengthy article. I would direct you to it. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm going to take snippets from it for the purpose of our conversation, but also to enjoy the laughter that he provides. But if you go to the college football section on SB Nation, you can read his latest piece, which is, again, lengthy but funny. The dark, pie-charted heart of college football's most heated current rivalries is what it's entitled. Every rivalry has something that makes it burn hot. And there's a pie chart for these things, which is really imaginative and fun. And he said, let's check in on some rivalries, a few basic ground rules for inclusion here. 1, rivalries are evaluated mostly on the last 4 or 5 years. No one on the roster was there before that. The coach probably wasn't either. The student section was in high school, and so were the players. And there's a strong chance no one remembers anything that happened in the rivalry prior to 4 or 5 years ago. But that epic game in '68. Stop hipstering dead rivalries to life just because you read about them. Dormant does not count here. We need live, fiery contests with spite and consequence on the menu. That's number 1.
That's good stuff right there.
Number 2, there are expectations to this, like the kick 6, which happened and was hilarious. My God, was that funny. If that happened to my team against a team I hate as much as Auburn, I would never stop being mad about it, especially because it's the kind of play that gets a name and then joins the other plays with proper names. And then even young football players and children know their name and repeat them even after being reminded of the other team's recent dominance over that rival. Is this triggering anything? It should be triggering for you, Alabama, because that is the entire point of this. 3, the rivalry has to be at least competitive over the last few years. What does competitive mean exactly? The games should be kind of close. If they're not close, then teams should take at least turns giving and receiving blowouts. If neither of these happen, then it means whatever I want it to mean in order to count something as a rivalry for my own purposes here. 4, rivalries should have some tussling and hollering. And non-heel-jack terms, some fighting, scrapping, personal fouls, various football-related misconduct, brawls, resulting legislation following said incidents, bowl bans, international sanctions, general extracurricular conflict. If it helps, for example, Alabama-Auburn is always at least a baseline rivalry. And sometimes it blooms into something where trees get poisoned, babies get named after key players in a moment, and in the most lasting moment of all, triumphantly mocking bumper stickers are made. That's obviously a step in intensity, and any ranking of rivalries should at least recognize that. So that's well done, too. The game should matter in larger scheme of things. Again, this can be and mean a lot of things. Does the rivalry often determine larger conference or national outcomes, for example? And finally, 6, you left one off. Yes, I did. Your favorite one, likely, meaning rivalry that he left off the list. So pie chart for Alabama-Auburn is partly yellow. When it blows up spectacularly so. Important for regional outcomes is the green in the pie chart. Losing means the end of the world is the blue of the pie chart, which is pretty much
significant
here. Brutal competition is dark blue, and Red is real, possibly criminal malice is the other half of that. So, yes, that's all there for that rivalry. What he gets down to and what I do like is that, and he goes through all of them. Oklahoma, Texas, for example, has only 3 colors. Half of it, just about half of it's red, mostly random outcomes. Half of it's blue, burning spite. And there's a little smidge of a pie that just says fried food. Which I like. For Ohio State, Michigan, it's a lot of different things, but it's mostly standing rollover credit from centuries of real hatred that still brews. That's true. He includes in this USF and UCF. And the biggest portion of the pie is actual fun games that matter played well. And he's talking about that rivalry. Then another big part of that is an orange. Floridian weirdness abounds. Yellow is the got rivalry nickname at an Arena League estate sale, which is true too. And then the red is cool, interesting players. I think that's true.
That is also really true.
That is really, really,
Flowers
really true.
And Griffin and
there is, for Mississippi State and Ole Miss, class warfare, sadism, malicious fate, pain, and endless directions. That's the pie for that rivalry. That seems about right.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah. He didn't even include, which I love that this is not on the list because it means he's conceding something, and as a Gator, which he is, it has to hurt. Florida State, Florida didn't get in there because it's not very competitive these days.
No, especially if you're looking at a 4 or 5 year window. Good Christmas.
That's why I loved it. That's why when I saw that his criteria was that it was a 4 or 5 year window, I went, well, it's not much of a rivalry these days.
No.
It's also why Florida State Miami's not in there.
And if you're looking at the last 2 or 3 years, the games don't really mean much of anything to the balance of anything at all.
No, the games don't mean much right now, and it's incredibly one-sided what's happening with Florida State, Florida.
Maybe bowl eligibility. That's about it.
And usually Florida's,
Well, they can't make it anyway.
They can't make it in. So
Twice
there's nothing.
in 4 years, is that right?
Brutal, yeah. I made mention of that yesterday to a fan who was trying to harangue me in some way and was a Gator, and I said, you haven't mattered in a long time. Like, not even mattered. Well, we won the East. I was like, tell me about it. Is that why you fired your coach? All those East championships? Kicking ass, were you? You felt good about those? Still celebrating those East championships? Or did you realize instead that they meant nothing because the East was damn sorry and you were just playing for the right to get blown out, which is what happened. And, oh, by the way, you lost all those years to Florida State as well, even when you were claiming East titles, and rightfully so.
Right. I mean, we were the East champion, you know.
We were the
East
East champion
regard,
indeed.
Yeah, we won the Atlantic and the East, and then, then Clemson took the Atlantic, but we still had the SEC East crown. Yeah.
But Miami would like to believe that this rivalry, Florida State-Miami, is returning to norm with a win last year, improbable as it was. But I do think, and we'll touch on this next hour some, just looking at the schedule and the possibility. I was reading an article today about game day going there. But I do think there's a real good chance we go on the road and win that game this year. Now, I haven't even seen the product this year for us, but
you're feeling good in this moment.
Last year, Miami was fluky to win the game. And they shouldn't have won the game.
Yeah, but what it does is it opens the door for them to bring in legitimate recruits and depth. I mean, they've had a decent recruiting run. Obviously, if you look at just from recruiting blue chippers to NFL production in the draft, Miami does still send kids to the draft at a pretty good clip.
Oh, yes.
Amongst the top 10 in the country. They just don't seem to develop them all that well. But a win like that allows Mark Richt to make a more compelling case. That's what we're talking about with Willie this year. You got to win 9-10 games to continue to be able to make the case.
You know who else sends a ton of people to the NFL? It's a lot like Miami. They lose a lot of games, and they don't seem all that significant. NC State. They do a lot of that, too. They send people to the NFL left and right and are fairly insignificant.
The aforementioned Florida does.
Oh, yeah.
But mostly, Muschamp guys.
They're about out of those.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're done here with that, right? That's it. So it will be an interesting climb. You really think they're going to go sub 500, don't you? I can see it.
Yeah. Mullen's going to make them better, but I think the defense might have run out of personnel just in time for him.
That a thing of beauty?
Right.
What a thing of beauty that is. My goodness gracious. Let's hope you're right. Let's hope Tom Lang's right. You've been right on that one before. You got me last year. I said I thought they'd be closer to a 7 or 8 win team.
And they still had 2 or 3 lucky wins.
Oh, the Tennessee win is a Hail Mary.
The Kentucky win.
Oh.
I mean, you know who's perfect for them right now? would be just the game day manager is Jimbo. Minimize possessions. Give yourself the best fighting chance to win. It's about ball control this year.
Oh, my God. So they'd lose a lot and be boring.
Yeah.
What's the win total for A&M this year? Save it. Think about it. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You'll ever eat. It's like you just won the lotto. As Bumpa said, no matter how you cut it, it's still baloney.
Bumpa's Local, 349-2738, Capitol Circle, Northeast.
97.9 ESPN Radio congratulates North Florida Christian's Trent Phillips on being named a Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Springtime Standout Student Athlete. Trent Phillips is a senior at North Florida Christian, playing both first and third base for the Eagles baseball team, a team that just punched its ticket to the state semifinals to be played next Wednesday. Entering the region final, Trent Phillips was hitting .349 with 7 doubles, 24 RBI, and 1 home run. A grand slam in the region semifinal. Trent serves as a student body leader at NFC and holds a 3.57 GPA in the classroom. As a Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Springtime Standout Student Athlete, North Florida Christian's Trent Phillips is entered into the $2,500 scholarship drawing held at the end of this week. Congratulations to Trent and good luck at States. To help support the folks at Dale Jr., check them out on the corner of Capitol Circle Northeast in Miccosukee or by visiting online at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac.com.
Time to check out our buddy Joe over at Truck and Car Concepts. What's going on, man?
Hey, man, what's going on with you guys?
Well, here's the deal. I heard that you were gone all day as you were out tinting a house.
Yes, sir. His customer was having a big heat problem on the west side of the house in the afternoon. We went over, did the estimate, decided to do the east side of the house as well. Let me tell you something. We knocked out 79% of the heat energy, which is going to totally knock down the electricity bill. Not only that, but she had some really nice paintings that were fading out in the living room. 99% ultraviolet ray elimination.
So it would fade out like carpets and drapes and furniture and stuff?
Not only that, but it also fades out those expensive hardwood floors. So window filming the house is nothing but a plus. Like I said, it comes and it takes down the heat energy, and that's, bottom line.
So even though the place is called Truck and Car Concepts, you could throw house in there too.
We can do houses, planes, trains, or automobiles, man. If it's got glass, we tint it. Truck and Car Concepts, 656-8800. Give us a call.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Nice Tire and Auto, just minutes away from FSU campus.
You have to be up in 5 hours. 2 hours. 6 minutes, and you haven't slept a wink. ZzzQuil Pure Z's is a drug-free blend of botanicals with an optimal dose of melatonin, so you can fall asleep naturally and wake with no next-day grogginess. So tonight, try new ZzzQuil Pure Z's from the sleep experts at Vicks ZzzQuil.
It's the little things. Like a perfect barbecue. Who wants cheese? Or finding the hottest deals in town at Goody's lowest prices of the season sale. Friday through Sunday, get a whopping 65% off women's and kids' sandals, Carter's apparel, and women's styles from Hannah and Rebecca Malone. We've got more doorbusters too, including 70% off home decor. It's our lowest prices of the season sale. Don't miss it. Fresh styles, big savings, and fun perks every day. Goody's. Little things mean everything. Goody's is part of our Stage family. Offer exclusions apply.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday, brought to you by Quarter Pocket Bar and Grill. Quarter Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachian Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
In radio. Another reminder, you can click on the 2-pack special and enter the promo code 979ESPN. If you need a new pillow, why don't you try MyPillow, mypillow.com, the website. Click on the 2-pack special, enter the promo code 979ESPN, or call 800-944-6596. But remember, be sure to use the promo code 979ESPN. That's somebody yesterday who said about those pillows. You for real about those pillows, Jeff? I hear you talking about them. Everybody thinks that I'm just talking about the pillows, that I don't use them. I'm using the pillows, guys. I would not be endorsing this if I didn't use them. I wouldn't sit here and tell you to buy a pillow that I'm not sleeping on, and I wouldn't tell you they were good pillows if I'd never tried them out. That's not who I am. Seriously. I sleep on this pillow every night. I think it's a good pillow, and that's why I tell you about it. We have fun with the ad, and I have fun telling you about it. But the truth is, I own one, so does my wife. We both love the pillow, and I think you'd like it too. If you're in need of finding a better pillow for a good night's sleep, why not try MyPillow? They come with a 60-day money-back guarantee, 10-year warranty. It's washable. It's made here in the United States, and you can save a lot of money right now on the 2-pack special. Just use the promo code 979ESPN. Again, click the 2-pack special. Go to mypillow.com. I asked you about Texas A&M. So it's that time of year where that happens frequently. We do it with Florida State all the time. But it's kind of fun. I know everybody and their brother is going to be watching more Texas A&M football than they ever have.
Yes, that's correct.
This year. They'll be locked in, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I won't be. I will be. We also know they play Clemson in week 2. We have that as a loss. They play Alabama on the road. That, too, is a loss. So I would guess that if you go 8-30, 1-0, 9-8, 1-1, 9-15, 2-1, 9-22, 2-2. Oh, the big one, Tommy. Arkansas, the 29th. Give them a win, 3-2. Yeah. Kentucky against the A&M, 4-2. A&M against South Carolina, loss, 4-3. At Mississippi State, loss, 4-4. At Auburn, loss, 4-5. Hosting Ole Miss, win, 5-5. UAB, 6-5. Hosting LSU, 7-5. Feel good about 7-5?
That would have been my answer last segment. Yes, 7 wins.
You didn't agree with the order?
No, that seems about right.
It does. It seems about right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. 7 wins, though. I think we're both on the same page there. I don't think that's going to waver much. Yesterday, go ahead.
Sorry, they have Elko too defensively. He hired a pretty good staff.
Yeah, he did. No, it's a good staff.
That's the other thing here. All jokes aside, and pot shots as he walks out the door, he's got pretty good recruiters, and he's got a good tactician on defense that I think he can leave alone for as much as he possibly can.
Oh, absolutely, he can. Yeah, I thought that was the biggest hire.
And then he got Damian and Brewster to go, do what they got to do.
Yeah, pay people off to come to their school.
Right. So he's got a decent formula. It's just he's mired in a different and difficult position, both geographically for recruiting purposes
and within the conference
and within his own conference. Yeah,
absolutely.
So I think they'll be decent enough to win 7 games. I'd set the over under at 7.5. That's where I'd put their little win total.
Are you playing the under or the over?
I'd trend under, but I wouldn't be shocked if they went 8-4. Surprise somebody else.
That's interesting, by the way. Really, all like you said, no pettiness here. Just honestly, what's a good season there this year? Just like they're going through the same exact thing we're going through, at least in terms of what expectations are or are not fair. I know for $75 million, they're expecting at some point in the very near future to be competing to win the SEC and or a national championship. You don't pay that money to be a decent team. They were already a decent team. You pay that kind of money to win championships. And obviously, we didn't bring Willie Taggart here to be average. He's got to find a way to get good and get good in a hurry and compete with Clemson, within, a year or two? I mean, if he starts his career 0-2 against Clemson, the Heat will be on by year 3. Not the Heat in the sense that anybody's getting fired, but people will raise an eyebrow.
Yeah, I think, Jimbo's got worse players where he's going, and he's got a bit of an easier schedule, I'd say. Obviously, Florida State's schedule this year is just, for this particular season, is a bear. I get Alabama, Clemson, and Auburn are on the schedule, but I mean,
South Carolina's pretty good, man. That's a tough schedule for Texas A&M.
I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's easier than ours. That's all. So I think right now, with how much of an uphill battle it is with their players to install his concepts with guys who've been running simpler offense, they're getting more complicated on offense. We're getting simpler on offense with better players. I would think 7 to 8 wins is right on the number.
I'll tell you what's interesting is that is the divider. You just defined it. I found that out when we had the discussion on headlines and also here about when I was saying how bad the offensive line for Florida State is. I got a lot of pushback from those that say, wait a minute now, listen, last year was an unmitigated disaster. That's fair. But look, they're competitive with Clemson last year. This is a team that has real talent. They could be really, really good. You're unfairly projecting the frustrations from the season ago to what you think is going to happen this year. And I think that's the line of delineation. A lot of people believe that. Like they think that the people that think that we're going to go 10-2 or better are saying that the reason that would happen is because we didn't get anything out of the talent we did have a year ago. Now we'll get those guys playing at their very best. We'll put them in a better position to succeed on a regular basis. And our athletes will be free to make plays with a simplified offense that gets them the ball in space. And I think it's a compelling argument. I just don't think that regardless of which side of the fence you're on with performance and what last year represented, that it suddenly upticks our offensive line to a place of elite status. And I don't think it does. I think that without that, you lose some pretty important games in the trenches against some pretty good teams, and at best you can hope for 9-3 because of it. And I don't think that's an unreasonable statement either. But I get that one thing, and I'll say it time and again, and I've brought this up since the day we hired Willie Taggart, and I'll stick by this, and I think it's 100% true. We are going to beat the hell out of some teams. The blowout is back. It's been largely missing. We could, we're winning by 7 over Duke, throwing late touchdown passes on the road against Wake, playing ridiculously close games against teams that have no business being in the contest with us when it's based on athlete for athlete. So now more possessions and so many games in which we still have the better athletes. The score may be, 30 or 40 point lopsided. We may give up 20 points. We may give up more points than we're
56-24.
Right.
Yeah.
But we're going to beat some teams' asses. I mean, again, gone are the days of we're sweating it out in the second half of a 1 or 2 possession game against Wake and Duke. That's not happening anymore, man. Just style of play. We're going to boat race teams.
Yeah, I think so. So if you were setting the number for Texas A&M, I'm not saying, again, I want to be clear, they don't have an easy schedule. They're playing Clemson, Alabama, Auburn, LSU, and South Carolina. I mean, that's daunting. But, we're playing Clemson the same, Notre Dame, Miami, not Florida. I can't list that.
I was going to say, you can't list them in there if you think they're going to go sub 500.
No, Virginia Tech, obviously, to start the season, too, which makes the schedule more difficult.
NC State.
Yeah.
Pretty good team.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah.
What, 9 games?
And we're playing them on the road, so, I mean, it doesn't matter who the coach is.
I don't know. Hopefully Willie ends that, right?
I would love that.
No more struggling with freaking NC State.
Yeah. Boston College in between the Notre Dame and Florida games.
That's a secret tough game.
Right. So,
I hate that you're going to miss out my conversation this year with
that's 2 years in a row.
I know. It's my dog.
He's my dog. Yeah. That's my pastry-loving fool right there.
I love him. And he's going to be in a good mood this year.
So he'll be like, let me ask you the first question, pal.
We've been doing this for years now, haven't we? Yeah.
So 7.5 for Texas A&M and 8.5 for Florida State, if you're setting numbers?
Yeah, I'll go over on Florida State, under on A&M.
But right at 9, not comfortably over.
It is 9 and it is 7.
Okay.
It's not comfortably under and it's not comfortably over. It's the half. Bud Elliott, SB Nation, while I'm on the subject of SB Nation, brought up betting lines today, and he brought up Bill Connolly, who does such good work for them with the S&P and all that stuff. And he was looking at best bets, and one of them was Washington, by the way, in the Pac-12. Is I think the over-under total is 8.5. I'll take – they're going to win 9 games. Washington's one of the better teams in the conference.
Probably, right? That seems odd.
Oh, it's incredible. Now, it's minus 200, so, but,
right,
but, I'll do that all day long. Michigan State's at over-under 7.5.
I don't know how much they return. I'll plead ignorance on that one. I need the Phil Steeles of the world before I
Well,
consider.
Ohio State and Michigan both play in East Lansing. So if you count on a split there, they don't play Wisconsin this year.
Okay.
I think I'm looking at the over there, I got to say, for Sparty. I think I'm looking at the over there at 7.5. I love win totals in the NFL. And again, listen, this is just about expectations. I'm not even trying to take the gambling angle per se. This is more about what Vegas thinks teams are, right? So it tells you what expectations should be because their emotion is removed. This isn't fans. So when Vegas says, hey, we're giving it 7.5 Michigan State, it tells you they don't think much of the Spartans in general. They don't think Washington's as good as a lot of college football pundits think Washington is. And so when you start looking at these numbers, that's really what it's about. Like, I think it's kind of interesting that they think Stanford's at 9.5.
Stanford usually plays a brutal schedule too.
Ohio State's at 9.5. Does that feel like that's too low?
Well, it depends on who their cross rival is this year. Do they play? They usually schedule a little tough out of conference too. I'm pulling up Stanford's schedule at the moment right now just to see what kind of craziness ensues. They play USC out the gate.
Mm-hmm. Whom they usually have great success against.
So they start with San Diego State, which is
it's a win.
Tricky, but they play USC on the 8th of September. Then they get right against UC Davis and Oregon. They're not going to lose at Oregon. Then they travel to Notre Dame, so they're on the road in South Bend in September. They host Utah.
What a great game that Notre Dame-Stanford game will be.
They get a bye week before traveling out to face Herm Edwards, shall we forget, or lest we forget.
Easy win there.
Yeah, Arizona State Sun Devils, and they play Washington State at home. That's a win. On the road at Washington.
It's a loss.
Poland. Host Oregon State. At Cal and at UCLA.
Well, UCLA is an unknown. So, what is UCLA going to be?
Yeah, by the time
Kelly,
they play
we don't know what UCLA is going to be. So that's probably where it hangs in the balance. Listen, now here's where I do bring back the gambling angle. I mean, if you're wondering about when that bet's going to be decided, it's final week of the season.
Right. So what you need if you're betting Stanford is a split on the road at Notre Dame and on the road at Washington. You need to go 1-1 there, and you're sitting pretty.
Yeah, I would. I'd be inclined to bet them against Notre Dame, not Washington. And I love some of these numbers. Again, just having fun with it. Can you believe Southern Cal's over/under is 7.5? That seems
quarterback's gone. Yeah,
quarterback's gone. Tennessee 6.5. What do you think about Tennessee? It's 6.5. Do you want to touch anything with Tennessee this year? Because you just don't know, right?
No, I kind of I'm a little bit bullish on Tennessee, and I don't mean to win the East or anything crazy like that, but just to have a good season.
Well, they're at Auburn, and they're at Alabama, and they're at Georgia. Good luck with that.
Okay, so I need them to win every game but one. After Is it 7.5?
It's at 6.5.
6. Oh well,
I'm gonna go under. I don't think they're very good. I think it's another long year.
Man, who am I looking at? Am I looking up Tennessee or Ohio State first for the schedules?
Go look up Tennessee if you want. That's a lot of fun. I mean, this is always fun on a Friday anyhow. Just going through people's schedules in May. I'm sorry. It never gets old. I could do it for days.
All right, so Tennessee opens up. Ooh, big game. West Virginia. They play West Virginia in Charlotte.
We're going under here, man. You've got West Virginia, who many people think is going to be the surprise of the Big 12. They're loaded this year. They got a quarterback. So now you've got West Virginia. You've also got for Tennessee, as I said, I think on the road, right? Alabama, Auburn, and Georgia.
Yeah, they're playing week 2. They're playing Etsu, buddy.
Yeah,
they're playing the Buccaneers.
Go ETSU.
So they host them. Then they host UTEP. So that's 2-1. Then they travel. No, sorry, excuse me. They host Florida in late September.
Coin toss.
Oh no, they're gonna kill Florida.
What? It's Tennessee. They're terrible. What about
Butch found a way last year to lose that game that he should have won by 2 or 3 scores.
Right. So 2 poorly coached teams got matched up and did poorly coached things. But now one will be coached well. We'll see if the other will be coached well.
I don't know about Tennessee 2 or 3 years from now, but I do believe they have more players than Florida does. Florida is terrible. Florida has no one.
But they'll have competent quarterback play, and they haven't had competent quarterback play, and yet they've still won that game.
Tennessee's going to win that game.
Oh, buddy.
So they're 3-1, and then they travel on the road to Georgia. It's a loss.
3-2.
Bye week at Auburn. Oh my God. So it's all together.
Yeah, 3-3.
Dude, this is brutal.
Then at Alabama, 3-4.
No, they host Alabama, but here it goes. At Georgia, bye week. At Auburn, host Alabama. At South Carolina.
Yeah, they won't win any of those games.
Holy crap. Then they play Charlotte, Kentucky, Mizzou, and they go to Vandy.
Well, I'll give them a win over Vanderbilt. I can't say for certain they're going to beat either Kentucky or Missouri.
Probably beat Kentucky. They'll beat.
Well,
so that's one.
We'll see, buddy. I mean,
it's right on 6. So they got to beat West Virginia, and I don't know if that's going to happen.
Give me under.
Boy, that's a hell of a schedule.
Tough luck. They're not winning. They're not winning 6. They're not winning more than 6 games.
That is unbelievable. At Georgia, at Auburn, host Alabama, at South Carolina.
Take the under.
Muschamp looks at that. He's like, "Come on down."
Give me the Ohio State schedule.
Okay, pulling it up.
And again, because they're an interesting team. Again, searching for a quarterback for the first time in a long time, and that's always fascinating to me. But let's go Ohio State.
Okay, Oregon State to start the year.
1-0.
Rutgers
2-0.
At TCU. Oh, nope, it's not at TCU. They're playing it in Arlington, but TCU is technically the home team. So neutral site, Arlington, Saturday, September the 15th, Ohio State, TCU.
Well, hot damn, we ran into a good game by accident. I had no idea that game was on the schedule this year. How great is that?
But they do typically schedule difficult. So
that's a great game. Yeah. I'm going to coin flip that, leaning towards Ohio State going 3-0.
Okay, Tulane.
4-0.
At Penn State.
4-1.
Okay. Indiana. Minnesota.
5-1,
at
6-1,
Purdue.
7-1.
Break. And then they play Nebraska.
8-1.
At Michigan State.
Coin flip.
At Maryland.
9.
And Michigan at home.
10. They beat Michigan every year. So that's they're going to go over. What was it, 9.5? I'm going over.
Okay. There it is. Boy, we've solved a lot of problems today.
Why even play the season?
No.
I'm giving you win totals right now, baby. I'm giving you win totals right now. Give me Miami's schedule. There you go. Give me the Canes. I'll do that. No. Save it. We'll save it. We'll go through later. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
That's MANAUSA.com and start packing today.
You have to be up in 5 hours. 2 hours. 6 minutes, and you haven't slept a wink. ZzzQuil Pure Z's is a drug-free blend of botanicals with an optimal dose of melatonin, so you can fall asleep naturally and wake with no next-day grogginess. So tonight, try new ZzzQuil Pure Z's from the sleep experts at Vicks ZzzQuil.
And now, Jeff and Eddie wasting time when they're supposed to be recording a commercial.
What do you think about this team this weekend?
Crazy, huh? Really fast.
And they're good. Where do they come from?
Never thought about it.
Oh,
Never
my
thought
goodness.
about it.
But then that one guy does that thing.
I had 2 people call about it. It's ridiculous.
It's the talk of the town.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
You know what? It's time you level up your lemon lime with new, clear, refreshing Mountain Dew Ice. Why settle for this when you could have this? You want a fist bump that ends in one of those fake explosions?
Hey, Charles.
Or a fist bump that ends in an actual explosion?
Hey, Charles.
Want to pull up to the party on this? Or arrive in this? Make this musical request? Or this one? So yeah, you can keep drinking the same old, but we think you'll like the exploding fist bump, showing up to the party properly way to lemon lime, right? Mountain Dew Ice. Clear, refreshing lemon lime, redefined.
Do you work in construction, photography, or real estate and use a drone for your job? Did you know that the FAA requires you to be licensed? That's right. All commercial use drone operators have to be a Part 107 license. Have questions? Contact the drone experts at TCC's Wakulla Environmental Institute. Go to tcc.fl.edu and search drones or call 850-558-3500. That's 850-558-3500. Remember, the FAA requires all commercial use drone operators to be licensed.
Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer.
Nice Tire and Auto, just minutes away from FSU campus.
For better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine, change your vehicle's oil at Superlube every 3 months or 3,000 miles, whichever comes first. For good times and family fun, Tallahassee heads to the Fun Station. And right now, when you change your oil at Superlube, you'll get a $15 Fun Station gift card. You don't need an appointment. You'll be in and out in no time. And with 19 Tallahassee area Superlubes, there's probably one right around the corner right now.
How I love to Superlube my car, yes sir!
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. After threatening to sue the University of Louisville, former athletic director Tom Jurich will get a $4.5 million settlement from the school. Jurich was fired in October, 2 days after head coach Rick Pitino, in the wake of the federal corruption investigation into college basketball. If you've missed the NBA playoffs, they're coming back tomorrow night in Cleveland. Game 3 for the Celtics and Cavaliers. The game is on ESPN Radio and TV tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern. Boston leads that series 2-0. Reaction continues to come in after the Supreme Court ruling this week, opening the door for expanded sports betting around the country. DeMaurice Smith, the executive director of the NFL Players Association.
It's not just a simple question of where the money is going to go as much as that issue is important, but also making sure that we maintain the integrity of the game, but also that we keep a good eye on what are the impacts on the athletes, what's the overall impact on the game, and making sure that we're making wise, prudent decisions about all of that.
DeMaurice Smith on Golic and Wingo. Blake Barnett will be a graduate transfer student at South Florida in the fall. Barnett graduated from Arizona State after starting his college career at Alabama. Meanwhile, Crimson Tide quarterback Tua Tagovailoa says if he hadn't played in the national championship game in January, he would have transferred to another school. Tagovailoa took over for Jalen Hurts in the second half, throwing the national title-winning touchdown pass in the second overtime. Angels reliever Keenan Middleton will have Tommy John surgery on his right elbow, ending his season. Middleton left Sunday's game against the Angels after only 12 pitches. He was the team's closer in April.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Libations Friday, brought to you by Quarter Pocket Bar and Grill. Quarter Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachian Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for this week. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything. If you do miss something, we got you covered because we'll post all 3 hours of the program both to iTunes and our own Audio Vault. Email the show if you like, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. You can find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. Also, if you want to Periscope the program, at 979ESPN Radio on Twitter. And on YouTube, it's ESPN Tallahassee. WTSM app for mobile devices are free. I can't say the word free or device, or good Lord.
I'm just glad you didn't finish the idea of Twitter without the W.
Yeah, I know. You can definitely get that show on Titter. It's not a word. You can't get in trouble for it. It's not a word.
Not, yeah.
Congratulations to the women's tennis team. They defeated Tulsa 4-3 and have advanced to the Elite Eight. Cool celebration for the ladies. Saw that last night, was retweeting that, was noting that they're in the Elite Eight. We're just steady making the Elite Eight and all kinds of things these days.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, man.
Moving on, and it was cool, obviously, to see the video that went mini viral when they beat the Gators to advance to the Sweet 16.
But now they just keep on keeping on.
Now you get a little nervous.
Now you're like, you could win a national championship.
Go get him. I mean,
yeah.
Obviously, Knowles Women's Golf is participating in the national championships as well.
Yes.
There's a lot of good stuff going on for the non-traditional sports.
Yeah, no, and exciting. And you know, obviously those young men and women and those coaches put in an awful lot of hard work, and you want to acknowledge them. I haven't always been great about doing that, so I'm doing it right now because I'm mindful of it. I'm watching it. I think it's great. I have really it's obviously the reason being that I've gotten involved with Florida State golf, but with my relationship with Trey. But I now really have to say that we've been missing out all these years. You're the one who told me about this actually a while back, that anytime there's an event in which, whether it's the men or the women that are hosting a tournament for golf locally, you should go. It's great. I mean, you get unbelievable access. If you want to see, in essence, world-class players. I mean, the people that play college golf, big-time college golf at this level, are amongst the top 2% of golfers in the world. You wouldn't be on a full ride, straight shooting 68 in a competitive round of golf if you weren't anything but a great golfer. So you get to see great golf up close and personal because there are not a lot of people there.
No, agreed. It's a very intimate experience, and the players will even interact a little bit too. Like if you say nice shot, they'll turn around and say thanks.
Well,
because it's like you're playing together.
It's crazy. I told you, John Pack, the freshman of the year there in the ACC, walked over to my boys, just saw him sitting there, and he had just hit a shot, and he was on the green, and he got in a cart, and he rode over and said, "Hey, boys, how you doing? You enjoying the golf?" And my kids were blown away, and he said, "Hold on a second, I got something for you." He reached in his bag and grabbed two Titleist golf balls. They had the Seminole Spear on them, and gave them to the kids. And now my kids, and see, this is so smart. And we talk about this all the time on professional sports in general, but the interacting with fans is important. You want to win somebody over. Both my boys knew that the golf postseason was going on. And every morning they got up, they asked, how is Pac doing? How's he doing? Let's pull him up. Let's pull him up on the internet. He's got a fan for life. He's got two little boys that are going to be fans for life. I mean, they have those golf balls displayed prominently in their rooms.
That's really cool. I did not know that story. You hadn't mentioned that.
Oh, yeah. He came over and gave them each a golf ball and asked them how they were doing. Thanks for coming out. And then gave them that golf ball. And then they asked him a question. Harry Ellis was hitting behind Pac off to the right. And it was his turn to hit. And Bryce asked John, hey, is it hard for you to hit the ball that far? Because it was a long approach to the green. And I think he had to hit a 3-wood or something. And he goes, it is for me, but not that guy. And he pointed back to Harry Ellis, who, of course, hits everything a mile. And they said, who's that? And he goes, that's Harry. He'll be playing on the tour, and he hits it a ton. But for the rest of us, it's very difficult to carry that distance. And so he's in the middle of a competition, interacting, answering questions, and then went up and proceeded to birdie the hole.
Hopefully John ends up winning a major just like Brooks Koepka did, so the boys can say they knew him when all their lives.
I hope so too, and for that matter, Harry Ellis and the rest of them, man, it would be great. By the way, the news, of course, obviously coming up, Florida State taking on NC State here in just about an hour, a little less than that, and of course, last night an exciting, a thrilling matchup, one on a walk-off, Stephen Wells with the catch of the year, followed by a timely home run. A little walk-off dongaroo is always a good thing. Love the walk-off dong.
I saw the tweet. Yeah.
Was not tape measure, though. Was not tape measure.
No. It was efficiently placed.
Just a simple walk-off dong. Not a tape measure dong.
No, I mean, and it's even if you listen to the call of it and you see the the actual live shot from Watch ESPN and ACC, whatever the hell it is, everybody had to wait. It was like, oh, and then they see the ball bounce and the kid mad, the left fielder, yes, it's the. Oh no, come on, and then all the relief in the world.
Then the celebration begins.
You're in prime position to take the series now.
By the way, Florida State, I don't know if you saw the story. Give credit where credit's due again here. IrishFL, WarChant.com. FSU President John Thrasher, over in Jacksonville, talking about the game in the home and home series, which is not now a home and home series with Boise. But the game will be in Jacksonville. The Noles and Broncos will still play the second game of their scheduled home and home series in Boise in 2020. The rest of this story means nothing to me. About the fact that they're going to play that game in Jacksonville, yep, bothers me. I don't like it. I don't know why we give away home games to Jacksonville. It's stupid. I wish we wouldn't do it, but we do. So, what are you going to do? All I really care about is to make sure that that return game is indeed in Boise in 2020. That's all that matters to me, buddy. It's going to happen. Will that be a Cat 5 over in Jacksonville?
It has to. No. The Boise one.
The Boise one.
It has to be.
I am so pumped for that one. I'm the only one in the fan base besides you. I think you joined me on that list of people that are excited to go to Boise.
Yeah.
When are you ever going to go to Boise? You got to.
Listen, it's residual. It's, what do they call it? Like a spillover effect. Mm-hmm. It's just you. I'm really not excited at all, but you make me excited because you're so excited. I'm so excited because you have that much excitement going on.
I can't wait. I'm going to book my plane ticket, man. We are locking it down, buddy. When I saw that story, I didn't care anything about. I knew what was going to happen. We were going to get our fair share of emails and tweets and texts about people giving away another home game, screwing the locals yet again, taking money out of Tallahassee to go over to Jacksonville. And for what? And I don't disagree with those people. I stop it. I don't like going to Atlanta. I don't need to go to those other places. Play the damn games in your stadium. Agreed. But all I really wanted to know when I saw that story was, now, wait a minute. Don't be screwing with that game in Boise. Let us go travel to their stadium. Make sure we definitely play that there. And I didn't see it get taken off the table, and so I did a little dance.
May I suggest something for game day apparel? And you may not like this at all, so we'll see. I think you should wear all Noles gear except for an Albertsons T-shirt.
You know what's funny about the idea of wearing an Albertsons T-shirt is that it's nostalgic for me. Albertsons hasn't really mattered as a grocery store in a very long time, and they're not Publix. They just get absolutely beaten across the head and face by Publix. But the Albertsons of my youth, the corner Albertsons on 9th, is a big damn deal to me. Of course, the way I remember that Albertsons is that they would still be a championship-level grocery store if they had bothered to maintain the excellence they had back in the 80s. But they failed us miserably, and thus they're in Boise, which makes a lot of sense. So I could throw on an Albertsons T-shirt as an homage to my childhood and that game.
I mean, it could even be ridiculous where you have a Noles polo and then it's just a T-shirt over it for Albertsons. But I really feel like that should be part of the game day apparel for you.
Or maybe an Albertsons pin. Do they have an Albertsons pin?
I'm sure they do at the corporate level.
Something you could put in the lapel? A little Albertsons. Here representing Albertsons.
Something blue, right, for your big day.
Yeah. I want a little pin on my collar. The way politicians all put the American flag on their collar, I want the little Albertsons pin on my collar when I step into the room. They're like, oh, well, isn't that nice? He's a Knoll, but he's paying tribute to our beloved Albertsons here in Boise.
Our corporate sponsor for our Boise State field.
You know, I can't, have I ever told you, I can't watch Boise State on television if they're playing a home game. Can't do it. It gives me a splitting headache. It makes me sick.
How'd you ever play Excite Bike back in the day? They had the blue tracks.
I don't know. It didn't bother me back then, I don't think. I never really thought about it.
That's the first thing I think of every time I see a Boise game because it's almost two-dimensional how high they have the camera up. I don't know if they've changed it in recent years.
It's off. I can't do it. It really is troublesome. I get about 5 minutes into the game. I go, we're done here. Let's change this. It's ridiculous. They really should stop that. It's gimmicky.
Not until after 2020, buddy, because if that field's green, you're not going.
I'm going anyhow. I want to go to Boise. I don't. Yeah, the field is a draw, I suppose. But
it's not the field?
No,
you just want to go to Boise?
I just desperately want to go see a game in Boise.
This is new.
Oh, yeah, it's not the field. I don't really care all that much about the field. I mean, it's an added bonus, I suppose, but I want to go to Boise. I have been told so many times that Boise is simply delightful, and I'm never going to schedule a trip to Boise for the hell of it. So here you go. Kill two birds with one stone. I get to see the surprising beauty of Boise and watch my beloved Noles take on Boise State, a middling program in the world of college football that had a chance to dance on the big stage briefly.
Why you got to kill those birds, man? Let them fly.
You thought it was the field?
I thought it was the draw of the blue field and how weird it was.
It is weird, and I do want to see it. Obviously, while you're there, you're going to take notice of such a thing, but that's not really the big draw.
No, because you've never appreciated the program. Like you know.
I don't appreciate the program.
Right.
I don't think, yeah.
So that's why I thought it was just about the weirdness and the irony almost of making the trip. Not that Boise's legitimately cool and you're excited to go to see Boise.
No. So years ago when I brought this up on the air, when we first made the schedule, a lot of people thought, why are we scheduling Boise? And I said, hey, listen, Georgia scheduled Boise. Boise's got big wins under their belt. They're trying to come up. Boise's doing what we did back in the day as a up-and-coming program. I can respect that, scheduling people at a conference and doing all those things. I didn't give them the same sort of respect they thought they deserved because they really had – look, their big win over Oklahoma on the trick play was the biggest deal in the world, right? But, again, we know what those bowl games represent. A lot to one team, not as much to the other. I don't really look at it as, they're on par with Oklahoma. They're on par with these other teams.
Musburger, Kellen Moore, Monday night opener against Virginia Tech.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So for me, I brought it up, and I thought it was interesting that we were doing that, and people were saying, why do you want to go to Boise? And I said, I don't know. I've heard Boise's all right. And back then, we used to take a lot of calls, or some calls anyhow, and I swear, like 8 or 9 ex-military people called, because there's a base there, and they all said, Boise's awesome. You're going to love it. You're going to be stunned. It's a great place to see a game. It's breathtakingly beautiful. The people are cool. The food's great. You're going to love the downtown. You have fun. And ever since then, they kind of wet the whistle, man. I've been like, well, damn, now I need to see what's up with Boise. It's like Missoula, Montana. Every time I see a Montana game, when they show me, my sister lived in Missoula very briefly. When I see that, I go, man, that looks like an awesome place. I'd love to go to a game in Missoula, Montana. Wouldn't you want to go to Missoula, Montana to see a game?
Maybe when I'm 50. Yeah. It doesn't do anything
for you.
I want to go to the Pacific Northwest. There are other places.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I've been to those.
You've been to so many places.
I've been to so many places. But, I mean, to me, it strikes me as interesting. Like, my dad got to see a game in Wyoming. He saw Wyoming play Air Force. That seems like a cool game to be at.
That's cool. Yeah, if you have some reason to be there.
Well, just to see college football, man. You and I are always talking about going places when the Noles are on the road or it's a bye week. And we want to go to the big stadiums. Yeah, we want to go see LSU play Tennessee or something like that. But we think about the little matchups, too, that interest us. Like, I'd go see – you know how I feel about Purdue. I'd go see –
At every turn. At every turn with the Purdue.
I'd go see Purdue. You'd want to see them now with Braum there. They're doing some good things.
I guess. I don't know.
That
means I got to travel to Purdue. That's the problem.
Let's go see a Purdue-Illinois matchup.
Oh. I get to watch Lovey get killed, so that's cool.
Purdue and Illinois. Let's go. Not Champaign.
Purdue, I mean.
No, Purdue's not high on the list. Boise's high on the list, though.
How about Death Valley, LSU? Yeah, that's on the.
Okay, well, we can get that done this year.
It's on the bye week.
Well, I'm in with you, man. I'll go. I've been to LSU. I'll go. It's incredible. It's an amazing thing. You got to see it. It's
so cool.
Go see a night game there and get loaded. Oh, Tom Block knows all about it. He goes all the time.
Mm-hmm. He's been on the bayou.
Jeff Cameron, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Over 70 years. When you call Whidden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Whidden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Whidden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. We've done hundreds of storefronts in the Tallahassee area. That's why Whidden is known for taking care of business. Whidden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Keep your windshield clean with Bosch Pure Vision wiper blades. Buy one and get one free at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Bosch Pure Vision wiper blades install in one easy step, and Bosch's Quiet Glide finish ensures clear vision in any weather. Bosch Pure Vision wiper blades. Buy one, get one free at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
What if hiring could be easier? With more qualified candidates and faster results? What if hiring could be smarter? Thanks to ZipRecruiter, it can be. With one click, post your job to over 100 top job boards. Then, their smart technology notifies the most qualified candidates to apply. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/expand. That's ZipRecruiter.com/expand.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
You have to be up in 5 hours. 2 hours. 6 minutes, and you haven't slept a wink. ZzzQuil Pure Z's is a drug-free blend of botanicals with an optimal dose of melatonin, so you can fall asleep naturally and wake with no next-day grogginess. So tonight, try new ZzzQuil Pure Z's from the sleep experts at Vicks ZzzQuil.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Like, the ACC.com has to get better. That website is freaking pathetic. If you ever try to go to the ACC.com, take deep breaths. You'll throw your computer. Ridiculous.
I'm sure they'll get the network thing right, though.
They'll get that right. They get too much invested in that. They obviously don't give a damn about that website. Good Lord. It's a mess. Navigating that website's a mess. All the stupid stuff they have on it.
What stupid
stuff? It's just
stuff?
ridiculous. Sports nobody cares about at all, leading the way. Come on, man. You just, like, when you get announcements for schedules and things like that and it involves football, let's go. Let's go. What are we doing? I don't care about somebody throwing the javelin. Let's go. Stop that nonsense.
I have to say, too, even though they don't pay for this, but we have friends that work with them, Seminoles.com is great. It's the revamping they've done.
They've done a very good job.
First about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe more than that, and then they did another wave of it in the last year, 18 months. It's organized, and it works very well, both on mobile and just standard-wise. Good stuff.
For those that missed it, by the way, 8 o'clock, you knew that already, Virginia Tech. 7:20, ACC Network, September the 8th versus Samford. Night game, that's nice, September the 8th. You don't need to be bothered with any of that nonsense in the afternoon. It's going to be hot as Hades. At Syracuse, by the way, noon, ESPNU/ESPN2/ESPN/ABC/ we don't know what the hell channel it's going to be on, but it's going to be on one of our networks at noon at Syracuse. That's good. I don't want to play a night game at Syracuse. They're gamey. They're tough. They can be,
We should be prepared for them, though, more than typical, because we will be practicing for that offense.
I don't disagree with that.
But it's nice, you're right, that the second game is 7:20. That means that we can announce our pregame show will be from 4 to 6. We don't need to do 4:20 to 6:20. That's just goofy.
That's just stupid.
So we'll just do a 4 to 6 pregame show?
I'm with you on that one.
All right.
By the way, I think Miami's games were announced as well. Yeah, I'm looking at all this now. So I got to go back through this. The ACC made it a hell of a lot easier. Posted it right on the front page. So this article in the Miami Herald today, by the way, and I don't care anything about the Bear per se, but they're talking to him, and they're talking to, what's his name, Chris Felicia?
I think it's Falica.
Falica, whatever.
He's carved a nice little niche for himself, hasn't he?
Well, I actually appreciate his work when it comes to gambling. He's a degenerate, and I like that about him. I mean, he does a podcast all about gambling. It's actually not terrible. With my man Stanford Steve. He does a good job with that. But his role on that show, I hate.
The show just isn't very good.
It used to be. It's not terrible.
I think Reese does a really good job.
He's a professional driver, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. He was born to do that.
Well, I mean,
and he waited his turn.
They've got it. Yes. Jesus.
Yes, he did. Man alive.
At least he got it, though.
He got it. Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine if they had pivoted to, some younger guy?
Matt Berry or something?
Dari Noka?
Ooh.
Sorry, Reese, we're going with Noka.
We're going with Noka. Oh, no.
Now, we do offer you the SEC Network vacated
by
position.
Noka.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, he didn't resign. Rightfully so. He just said, have a good day. I'm taking it to...
Listen here, you sons.
Yeah, no, this is not how this goes.
I've been doing those stupid studio updates for the new kicks.
I had to fake like I was a freaking judge with Lou Holtz. I looked like an idiot. I'm wearing a mock judge outfit like an ass, all because I was holding on for dear life thinking I was going to get this gig.
I survived Holtz and May for far too many years.
And I had to fake like I was a judge more than once because you all thought it was cute. I had to don the robe. It was ridiculous.
Well, I don't get to bring the ink home.
I do like that you use the slow motion version to start, not even the real version, just because it's so much funnier.
Well, but that's also Reese's warped perception of life.
He's just sitting there shaking his head watching that.
Well, I don't get to bring the ink home.
It's even more twisted when we hear it again and again. I mean, every time I go, well, I didn't notice that one. There's an added thing in there.
I feel like I should add some dark, demonic music, and it sounds like he's speaking in tongues. That would be fantastic.
Oh, it's too good.
Death metal.
So he was interviewed, the Bear, Chris Fallica, in the Miami Herald because they were talking about ESPN College Game Day perhaps returning to Miami. Not a familiar sight. First of all, the fan base is checkered and sorry. Secondly, there's not an on-campus stadium, and they haven't been any good. So there's just been no reason to be there. But now, obviously there's an opportunity, and he was asked about whether or not that's something that could happen. They're trying to get the inside skinny from him who works on the show. Of course, Chris Fallica
They
does.
should do it in the IPF because it's only like 50 yards, right? It's the perfect size for a college game day set.
He said that he would love to see, obviously, they could get an October the 6th date. That game would be Florida State at Hard Rock Stadium. Game day locations are decided as the season progresses, but he assured that FSU at would be closely examined. Quote, that would be Florida State, absolutely, as long as Florida State doesn't start off poorly. If you look at the Canes schedule, I would think it would be a shock if they were anything worse than 4-1 entering that Florida State game, with a really good chance of being 5-0. According to the ESPN College Football Index, Miami has better than a 54% chance in every game this year, said Fallica. Okay. According to percentages in win probability, the toughest game they have on the schedule is that game at Virginia Tech right now in late November. The Canes open against LSU at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, and I thought it was interesting that they're assuming a win there. That's on a Sunday night, September the 2nd. In the Advocare Classic, they host Savannah State. They'll win that game. Then they travel to Toledo. Tom's high on Toledo. Toledo went 11-3 last year, and he's got him beating Arkansas.
That's Tulsa. I got beaten.
Oh,
Arkansas.
sorry.
Toledo would wipe the floor with Arkansas.
They host FIU, and then they face North Carolina. Sorry, I asked North Carolina went 3-9 last year. Do you know North Carolina won one conference game last year? I think that's correct.
Yeah. So Miami basically is going to play a tough game to start the season, and then they get a month of preseason games before the Florida State game.
Yeah. And LSU is offensively challenged, so that would be interesting because that's the problem, right? Miami's got a good defense. That we know. So the Noles would come in if Florida State survives Virginia Tech on Labor Day night. Obviously, we have Samford and we have Syracuse, and we play at Louisville, which does not feel nearly as daunting as it once did with a certain player now in the NFL. What do you think Florida State's record is going to be playing Miami?
Game 5, 3-1, 4-0. I don't know. With W's and L's, it's hard to do that and just take it away from the full-on W's and L's look.
We need to get our schedule written up in the upper left-hand corner. We've got to either bring in your beautiful girlfriend and have her write that up there as is tradition, or we could have Matthew do it. But I don't think that doesn't feel right. Young Matthew writing the schedule up there, I don't think that's the right thing to do.
No, it's either my girlfriend
or Alicia,
or we call Alicia and have her swing by.
She could come over here and do it. I mean, I don't know what kind of. I'm not trying to give your girlfriend added duties that she's a busy woman.
Yeah, a little bit.
So I can't just assume she's
a lot of household
on
things
over.
to do.
Well, there's cleaning. I mean, that place is not going to clean itself.
Or researching, like important stuff.
No. So she's a doctor. She still has duties.
Yeah, go ahead. Cure the cold. See? Congratulations.
Anyhow, that got me to thinking that would be a lot of fun to head down to Miami Hard Rock Stadium, get back on a win streak against them, especially if a certain quarterback is starting for Miami. You could pencil in a victory right there, buddy. You go ahead and write that in right now. That's a win.
They got plenty of time to ease in somebody else, though.
No, let Malik Rozier get off to a good start. Come on, Malik. Pull the wool over their eyes again. Have them convinced you can play even a little bit.
So, in a way, that Sunday when they play LSU, you're
Come
rooting
on,
for Rozier
Malik.
to go nuts.
Oh, yeah. Have a great day. Have a lasting impression that resonates because the rest of their schedule prior to playing us, our games are going to win whether he's good or not.
Right.
So, yeah, if he plays well or decent enough for them to win that game, we're probably guaranteed he's starting against Florida State. And that's exactly the way you'd want that to be. Exactly. No, I haven't seen N'Kosi Perry play, so I don't know. Maybe he sucks too. Maybe they just don't have a quarterback.
Right, but you're going with the idea that a replacement level player would be an upgrade, and I think you're correct.
Oh, I think an upgrade, the likes of which would be startling. I mean, my man's completing 40-something% of his passes. He's terrible.
Mark has to know that.
Yes, as a former quarterback, one would think that Mark watches him every day and goes, this guy, what the hell are we doing here? Hitching our wagon to this cat. That's not what you do.
I mean, we're forcing a lot of turnovers, but
I don't
think Malik is there at safety.
So, by the way, he benched him, when the kid just went flighty on him and stared off into space.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got to be on the cusp of saying to his staff, anybody shows signs at all that they can be something better than this mental midget, let's go.
Let's just work him with the ones. Let's see how it goes.
Goodness gracious. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or...
We got this.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
(50-545-4747) or email me jeffdoxy1@gmail.com. You say where, I'll be there. Your Canopy Connection.
Congratulations, you are now a licensed drone pilot. But what should you do next to elevate your business to new heights? Learn how to package your drone photography by enrolling in TCC's Wakulla Environmental Institute's Drone Business Video Production course. Don't wait, seats are limited. Go to tcc.fl.edu and search drone today or call 850-558-3500. Learn how to package your drone photography so that you can get your drone business started. Go to tcc.fl.edu and search drone for drone education at TCC's Wakulla Environmental Institute. Class starts June 14th.
Shot, save, rebound, score!
The playoffs are here. The Corner Pocket is your home all spring long for all the heart-pounding moments in the NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs.
It's held in a shot, save, rebound,
The Corner Pocket on Appalachia Parkway next to Earth Fair is your headquarters for Trivia Tuesdays, Beer Bingo Thursdays, and of course, all the moments you'll never forget.
For the championship!
The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 24/7.
Wrapping it up on this Libations Friday. I don't say it with a lot of vigor, given the news today. But nonetheless, try to deflect and focus on the good things like Florida State baseball coming up and the catch that Stephen Wells made last night. Woo!
Talk about distance traveled to go get that thing.
I'd like to see, the way they do it in MLB with the advanced metrics, and then they have the path.
Yeah, StatCast path.
StatCast path. It's amazing, right? I would have liked to have seen that. He couldn't have wasted a single motion to get to that. That catch is silly. I mean, I've seen a lot of great catches. That's on the list, man. That was, I didn't know how he didn't hurt himself.
Yeah, nobody was on base in that moment. It ended up being in foul territory, but you felt like the way the game had gone, something needed to happen. Something good needed to happen. And Steven has had a ton of these moments for Florida State dating back to last year's ACC tournament.
Yeah, it's a good story, man. He's been a good story this year. It's been one of the best stories. And it's kind of funny how sometimes that all translates too, by the way. A guy makes a great defensive play, and then he ends up being the guy that gets the big hit. You see it all the time in the major leagues where a guy will make a great play, and then later on he becomes the offensive star too.
Well, and he's being honored as we speak, as it's senior night. They're giving away the 11 bobbleheads, of course, as we talked about, but it's senior night and those festivities 5:45.
Yeah, it's going on right now, yeah.
Pretty much right now. So there you go. I'm sure that, as Ira remarked on Twitter earlier today, that he may get a little bit of an ovation. Not just for his career, but recent events.
Yeah, I'd say. And that was an important game to win. And you have an opportunity now to win the series. And obviously, that's ideal when you're fighting for a top 8 national seed. Let's see if they can get that done tonight. You'd love to be in a position going into tomorrow to get a sweep. And tomorrow's weather is supposed to be pretty good. So I think they'll get that game in. Knock on wood with the weather the way it is.
Yeah, it's I thought when they had lost the rubber match to Clemson that was the end of their hopes for a national seed. But
and it may be, but if you sweep,
you've got a chance. You're right back where, to the good side of things. I don't know that 2 or 3 does it without going deep into the ACC tournament and being lucky enough that as you play all of these games, you're playing teams with really good RPIs to the bitter end of the tournament.
Yeah, that's right. If you're lucky enough, right?
Yeah. You probably need to win it, though.
Well, get the sweep and let the chips fall where they may. At this point, again, the thing about tournaments and the thing about winning tournaments, and that includes the national championship tournament, all these truncated tournaments and, if you will, competitions like that, we do know this. Oftentimes, it's not the best team that wins those things. Frequently, it's not the best team. Occasionally, you do get that. But the team that's playing best in the moment, the team that's hot right now, somebody finds something. A lot of times, depending on the sport, it's also about a team that just sticks to a game plan. In baseball, I don't know that it's really about that, but it's certainly about playing well at the right time. And, last year's team was obviously a team that needed to get right, and it got right at the right time after being really pretty average all season long, to say the least. So this team's good enough that when they're playing well and all of the key components are clicking, and you get guys pitching to the best of their ability, and you get your power hitters to hit for power, and you get your guys that are better on base guys to get on base. If all of it's happening at once, it's a formidable team. They're not a terrible team. They're a top 15 team.
They are, and as you're talking about that, I can do is think about Tyler Holton and what he would have meant to this year's team, and it would have been, I think, every bit the expectation. It would have lived up to the expectation. We'd be, flirting with a national seed, if not comfortably inside that 8 line at this point. I mean, how could you not be? With what we've done outside of having the ace, who was also going to bat days he wasn't pitching, somewhere in the middle of the order.
Yeah, 5 or 6 probably.
Yeah.
And I actually thought that was another boon. Like, I was really excited to watch that kid hit because we had seen flashes. So, it is a damn shame. Local kid, key component to go down like that. And the season's been what it's been. I mean, that they have their moments. They got a good record against the top 25. They've got a good record against the top 50. A lot of, it's funny, we do this a lot of times in basketball when we're looking at resumes where teams play, more than 30 games. For Florida State, you look at the ACC record and you're not impressed. It's not an overwhelmingly good record. What are they, 3 or 4 above 500 in the ACC? But when you look at the record against top 25 teams and you look at the record against top 50 teams, it's a very good record. They have a lot of quality wins, is usually the phrase. they've got quality wins all over the place, especially because you look at, Jacksonville and Stetson and what those teams are.
Right, and that's why when you look at the RPI and we play Mount St. Mary's for 4, we win those 4 games, we can still hold an advantage over a Clemson in some metrics and certainly over teams like NC State and others. But that's how you can weather it, is because I think it's 3rd in top 50 RPI wins, 3rd in the country.
Yeah, that's what it was the last time I looked. Yeah. No, they're very good against the top 50 and very good against the top 25. They're above 500 against the top 25. So if that's where you're at, you've got quality wins there, which is also a measure for excitement. I mean, to me, it tells you that you can play good competition and win series, win games against really good teams. We've had years that were where it was a little bit of fool's gold, years where the team won more than 40 games. And they beat up on a lot of average to bad teams. And every time they faced somebody who was bordering on elite or certainly top 15, you felt like they didn't get the job done, and they didn't. But the record was the record, and so you believed falsely going into the postseason that they were an upper echelon team. Then we've had years where the record's not great, but the schedule is intense, and they've played better than average against those teams, and I thought they were more prepared to play a postseason series, more prepared to play with the lights brightest and the scrutiny greatest in the moments, because they had been challenged. And that's always my argument, by the way, with scheduling in general. It's where Mike Martin Jr. and I disagree. He says it's about garnering confidence, and that's why they don't play a lot of people anymore outside the conference that are worth a damn in a series, in a weekend series, pre-conference, I think, to me, the more you could play, I don't care about the record. You're going to get in, barring you're below 500, you're going to get into the postseason. And I feel like if you get into the postseason and you've been challenged by a bunch of elite teams from the SEC, the ACC, throw in the Pac-12, whatever you want, that you're better suited and better prepared to handle frontline pitching, great defense, all the things that you're going to face. As
it works out this year with Jacksonville, Stetson, USF, you have a really good schedule. I mean, Florida, of course, but you have a really good schedule just by your weekday games, and that's where this RPI number you're talking about really comes into play.
Yeah, no question. So cross your fingers. Hopefully they get it done tonight. Bobblehead night, pretty cool. Love bobbleheads. Who doesn't love bobbleheads? Mm-hmm. We get an 11 bobblehead.
They're already gone. They have to be. I believe 4 o'clock was when they started giving those away.
Oh, man.
To the first 1,000. So, yeah.
They're gone. Those are cool things.
Season ticket holders get them, though. So I'm sure they have some extra ones floating around.
I'll put it in a text.
Yeah.
See if we can't get one for the studio. Mm-hmm. We got to have one for the studio.
It would be awesome if you hit it and it had like 3 or 4 catchphrases. Like, obviously Poise would be one.
Poise would be the first one.
I think another one that would be really good is,
Proud would be good. He's always proud of everybody.
Young man.
Young man, and Poise.
Tip your cap.
4. I like all 4.
Yeah.
Let's throw in a 5th. Florida State baseball.
Or just, baseball.
Baseball. Yeah, that's a good one, too. Now you get probables. Fire it up, my man. Here we go.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Dodgers, Nationals. Max Scherzer taking on Ross Stripling. By the way, Scherzer will meet the Dodgers a day after his scheduled start was postponed due to weather. This is the second time he'll face L.A. this year. He struck out 9 over 6 innings back on April the 20th. His 1.69 ERA is the second lowest ever through 9 starts.
Yeah, that's the Dodgers game where you talked to the people and said, Big Daddy J has something for you, folks. Yeah. Take Scherzer against the Dodgers. You're getting runs tonight.
Yeah, well, you're given a run and a half tonight.
I'm just referring back to the other one.
Yeah,
when you said this is free money, people.
That was free money.
Yeah.
And at that time, people didn't realize how bad the Dodgers were. And moreover, even if the Dodgers were elite, you're giving me runs with Max Scherzer? I mean, you just do that anyhow. Even if you don't win the wager, you have to do that. You're right. I forgot about that. I made you all money that night. San Diego, Pittsburgh. Ivan Nova goes for the first place Buccos. Tyson Ross going for the Padres. Pirates won again yesterday. Athletics Jays, Brett Anderson, Marco Estrada. Hey, Marco Estrada. Seems like I haven't said his name in forever.
He's a forgettable name. Usually I have a feel for these things. I don't know.
Arizona Diamondbacks, New York Mets. Your New York Mets see Jacob deGrom back on the hill. In his return from the hyperextended right elbow, deGrom threw 45 pitches in a scoreless first, stranded the bases loaded in Philadelphia. And they removed him from the game as a precaution. Zach Godley going tonight for the D-backs. He's 4-2 with a 4.08. In his last start, he allowed 4 earned runs, including 3 home runs in 6 innings. Give up the long ball.
Cespedes on the DL for the Mets, so I don't know where the offense is coming from.
Cespedes on the DL is just kind of like, you can't say Cespedes without saying on the DL.
You know, what sucks is that trade for him was totally worth it, and it made all the sense in the world. And it just, this is what you have to live with to keep him in the lineup, re-sign him, and all that crap.
He's got a degenerative hip situation that isn't going to get better because he's used large amounts of steroids. So my guess is that guy is the beginning of the end.
Well, and he also insists on farming his land that he owns. Like, actually hardcore work in the land.
He also insists on playing golf incessantly.
My organization will always be like this. The question is, will they win in spite of themselves like they did in '86?
Yeah. Well, they've come close again, despite all of the problems with the doctors and management and everything else.
We tickled the baseball a little bit there, in the 2015 World Series.
Nearly happened. Orioles, Red Sox, Alex Cobb, Drew Pomeranz going for the Red Sox. I'd love to tell you to take the Red Sox going away here, and one of the reasons that I would is that the Orioles, I believe, have lost 12 straight on the road. The Orioles aren't any good.
0 for 12.
A complete and utter disaster are the Baltimore Orioles. That might be 13 straight after last night. Cubs, is it? Yep, 13 straight road games they've lost. Big Daddy J is looking at the Red Sox as a 14th straight, but
we welcome to the desk tonight new MLB Network analyst Buck Showalter for his first MLB Tonight.
Oh, it's happening. That team is a damn sorry outfit. It's Manny Machado and a bunch of losers. It's brutal. It's hard to watch. Cubs, Reds, speaking of losers.
That sounds like an incredible Friday night happy hour band. Manny Machado and a bunch of losers. Yeah. Wouldn't you go see them?
I would. Hey,
Frozen
listen,
drinks?
I'll meet you at the bar. Manny Machado and the Drunken Losers are coming into town. Cubs, Reds, John Lester, Homer Bailey. Reds have been playing better lately. A lot better. Marlins, Braves, Dan Straley, Sean Newcomb. Marlins aren't any good. Braves are. Indians, Astros. You know, Mike Clevenger, unenviable task having to take on Charlie Morton. Morton will take the hill in a 3-game series, the opener there at Minute Maid Park. His 2.03 ERA is the lowest in the American League. He has been sensational, as have every one of the starting pitchers for the Houston Astros. Sweet Jesus.
Well, maybe they're peaking in May. Who knows?
That's a fun team to watch, too. I wish they were my team. They're just really cool. They got really good players. They play a cool style of baseball, and they can really pitch.
I could not stand Houston forever and a day.
Because of the rivalry back in the 80s?
Well, they were really a thorn in the side in the late 90s, early 2000s
That's
with
right,
Bagwell
yeah.
and Biggio,
Biggio
Beltran, and all that. Yeah, the Killer Bees. I'm just so glad they didn't win a World Series. Like that group.
This group did, but
this group is cool.
Yeah,
no,
I like
just
this group.
that group. They're annoying as hell.
Yeah, I agree with that. Brewers, Twins, Brett Suter, Kyle Gibson, Rangers, White Sox, Matt Moore, Carson Fulmer. We got the Yankees and the Royals. CC Sabathia going for the Yanks. Jacob Junis going for the Royals. Junis is pretty good. Phillies, Cardinals. Big Daddy may or may not be riding high on Jake Arrieta going into St. Louis to silence the Cardinals, who offensively are a little bit challenged this year. Michael Wacha going to the hill for the Cardinals. Got plus money on the Phillies, just saying. Rays, Angels, Blake Snell, Nick Trapino.
Luke Weaver had a good outing
but he
last
lost.
night or the night before for the Cardinals.
But they lost.
I know. Well, he needed to get going.
Get going, yeah. Yeah, the Cardinals, I hope they struggle. Tigers, Mariners, Michael Fulmer, Felix Hernandez. We've got Rockies, Giants, Kyle Freeland, Derek Holland. Out of nowhere, Derek Holland was really good last week. I know this for some reason. Derek Holland rolling in, dealing his ass off through 7 1/3 out of nowhere. Couldn't get you or me out for the entire season. Then all of a sudden, it's Derek Holland from 10 years ago. Baseball's cruel that way, and that's a look at those that shall reside on the bump. Really kind of timed that very, very well. Now you can crank the goodness as we can all put a smile on our face and embrace baseball. And if you're in the mood, may not be as good as last night's game, but certainly won't hurt to watch. Winnipeg and the Golden Knights of Las Vegas.
That is my post-game plan after I race over to Hauser to catch a few innings of this series.
Folks, again, playoff hockey, we can't say it enough. It's just so good. It's hard for you and I to enjoy last night's game. They won it, but it's hard for us to enjoy it because you just wrapped up emotionally. But imagine, remove yourself for a moment, and you don't have a rooting interest in either one of those teams. You just want to see competitive intensity and high-stakes action in the postseason. Well, sweet Jesus, man.
You got to buy the bucket load. I am now your age after last night. Those last 2 minutes in particular.
Oh, my God. The puck was basically in our crease the entire last 2 minutes.
I told you earlier, I had to go through breathing exercises because I was like, just focus.
Let me ask you something real quick as we say goodbye. So I was sure we were about to hear him go, go! I mean, like every time it came across, I was like ready to hear him say, scores!
Well, what I do, and I learned this a long time ago watching it on standard def, is when there's a chance that goes to the net, anywhere close to it.
You stare at the net?
I look at the net.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do that every time.
And
I kept just staring at the net, waiting for it to move.
And then every time I saw it, because they had a couple that are optical illusions that went to the back
of the net, and you thought it looked like it went in?
Right.
Yeah.
And then you see that it's still being played, and Doc's not going nuts.
The one on the side of the net, it hit the webbing of the net, and the net moved, and you see, I'm slapping the mic.
Mother,
and you know? I'm like, oh. I thought for sure they was about to yell goal.
And then when it does that, you go, oh. And then you don't clear the zone. It's back to the point. And you collapse your 5 in because they've been on the ice for a minute and a half.
Well, they're exhausted. They can't do anything.
It's the longest 2 minutes of your life.
You're also just praying for a mistake. Yeah. Like somebody make a mistake and let us get a stick on it so we can change.
They need to fumble it. Yeah.
But they're not going to make that mistake.
I don't know how we cleared it still.
Ed scored to get a push.
Oh, and they didn't even know that happened in the broadcast. Like, it's an offside there.
No, it's a goal. And by the way, you know how many people were like, wait a minute, that's not offsides. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
That made it, pushed the goal number. Second night in a row.
Second to go. Yeah.
Second night in a row. So the Golden Knights scored with 3.2 seconds left to put the over on the puck line.
Yeah.
And then last night, the Lightning score on an empty netter to push to the total. Can you imagine gamblers in Vegas watching that? Like a guy who's probably on his way to the window when that puck goes in with a second to go?
Yeah.
Oh.
I still need to come down. Oh, bad beats, but
Bad beats.
I'm friggin' still wired up.
You'll be all
to
right.
that
The game's not till tomorrow when we play.
I woke up. I didn't have a drop alcohol last night to watch this game. I
had one glass of scotch.
I do the podcast and all that. I got to be ready. I woke up hungover. I woke up with a headache, and I felt I felt like I did with a hangover.
Should have had a glass of scotch.
I suppose so.
I had Talisker last night. It was delicious.
Who knew that playoff hockey could leave you hungover just by itself?
I know from years in the past with different reasons, but not stress. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Have a great weekend, everybody. Give everybody a hug. Be nice to one another, and we'll talk to you on Monday. Go Noles.